I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning this morning, and you're tuned into the Business Morning Live show on BusinessDay television. And as usual, we've got a packed morning ahead. We're going to be starting off with the morning news. We then move to the newspaper review. We bring you the conversations on the show this morning and also wrap up with the social listening. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you the morning news. Just stay with us. Welcome back to the BusinessDay Morning News. Let's see the headlines. Dangote plans ship acquisitions to boost Nigeria's export capacity. In Africa finance, banks deals, debt gains, and billionaires bets. Ghana tightens gold export rules, mandate local refining. US plans mass revocation of up to 200,000 visas from asylum seekers. Now let's begin the news. Dangote Industries Limited is planning to acquire vessels to transport its cement and other industrial products to regional African markets amid a shortage of ships available for export from Nigeria. The company said it recently struggled to secure a vessel to move just 1,000 metric tons of cement from Nigeria to Ghana, forcing exporters to rely heavily on costly road transportation. Dangote Cement, head of international trade exports, Sada Ladanbaki, said the company's planned vessels acquisition would help overcome logistics constraints and make its exports more competitive across West and Central Africa. He also called for the activation of Nigeria's $700 million cabotage vessel financing fund, which was established to support the acquisition and construction of vessels by Nigerian operators. The fund has remained largely inactive despite a government application portal launched earlier this year. And moving on, Africa's financial landscape is seeing major shifts from banks using acquisitions to gain digital capabilities to improving sovereign debt prospects and renewed billionaire activity in Nigeria. African banks are increasingly pursuing acquisitions not just to expand their balance sheet, but to gain digital platforms, licenses, customer networks, and specialized capabilities more quickly. In Tanzania, Fitch Ratings revised the country's sovereign credit outlook to positive from stable, citing stronger foreign exchange reserves, manageable fiscal deficits, and sustained economic growth. Zambia is also seeing renewed investor confidence with its latest local currency bond auction 37% oversubscribed, following President Akande Ikileme's re-election. Meanwhile, Nigerian billionaire Femi Otedola has increased his stake in First Holdco for the 5th time in just over a month, buying 95.7 million shares worth 12.58 billion naira and taking his holding to about 26.6%. Overall, the development points to a continent where bank consolidation, foreign credit improvement, and strategic private capital are increasingly shaping the financial landscape. And in other news, Ghana will require artisanal gold purchased by self-financing aggregators to refined locally before export from September 1st, 2026, as the country moves to retain more value from its growing gold industry. The new directive by the Ghana Gold Board, means gold door purchased under arrangements with approved off-takers can no longer be exported in unrefined form. Export applications will only be approved after the gold has been refined at a gold board approved or designed refinery and all regulatory requirements have been met. Self-financing aggregators have until August 31st to amend their existing off-take agreement to reflect the new requirement. Gold Board warned that non-compliance could lead to sanctions, including license revocation. And the policy is part of Ghana's broader push to increase local value addition, foreign exchange earnings, and economic benefit from its gold resources. However, traders and aggregators may face higher compliance costs and longer processing time under the new regime. And to end the news, the Trump administration is preparing to revoke the B1 and B2 business and tourism visas of up to 200,000 foreigners who have applied for or are currently seeking asylum in the United States. The State Department is expected to begin the process in the coming weeks, targeting eligible visas issued between 2016 and 2026. The department says it is working with the Department of Homeland Security to identify affected visa holders. The administration argues that some visitors are using temporary visas to enter the U.S. and subsequently seek asylum in order to remain permanently. Officials say the revocations will be carried out on a rolling basis, meaning the final numbers could change. If implemented as reported, the move would represent the largest single mass visa revocation in U.S. history. However, visa revocation would not automatically mean immediate deportation, as many affected individuals with pending asylum cases could be reclassified under a different immigration status. And that does it this morning on the news. Up next is the newspaper review. Just stay with us.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from Inma. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doris is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from Inma. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doris is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to huge organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question. You'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
It's good to have you, Mr. Yomi Onubero.
Thank you so very much.
And let me congratulate you again on your appointment as the CEO, Deloitte West Africa.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about our appointment now. What's the expectations when it comes to the appointment to your clients, business alike, and also the stakeholders, regulators? What exactly is the expectation from your appointment?
Well, thank you so very much. So at Deloitte, we say we are AI powered and human led. And what that means is that as an organization, we want to support our clients, our people, and the country at large in leveraging the capabilities that we have within our organizations. Deloitte is the leading global professional services provider by far. It's a $74 billion business with 500,000 people, spread all around the world. And so we've got capabilities across different specialties, right? From tech to AI, to data, to cyber, to just different spectrum of financial advisory capability that clients do need. So my role and what it means to the client is being able to leverage all of those capabilities, bringing expertise within the local market, within the broader Deloitte Africa, which Deloitte Nigeria and West Africa is a member of, and more importantly, from within the global network of the firm, to supporting all that our clients really need to achieve. So we're here as enabler, we're here as strategic partners to help our clients achieve their strategic ambitions.
Right, very brilliant. I must say, amazing session you had during the panel session, and you really had lots of insightful, comment to make about that panel session. But what advice, in few words, do you have for CEOs that are actually trying to navigate this economic bandwidth right now? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think if I can sum it in one, I think many businesses will make do and will benefit significantly from having strategic advisors to help them navigate all of the bottlenecks that we have. There's just so much that organizations need to deal with, from the barriers to the constraint to the regulation, while still ensuring they focus on their business. And so what successful organizations have done is to ensure that they focus on their core operations, core business, core capabilities, but ensuring that they leverage the skill and the expertise of advisors who've got the strength and the breadth and the specialty to handhold them and help them navigate all of the constraints and all of the challenges. So if I can sum it in one, that would be it, because operating in an environment like Nigeria can be quite challenging. Opportunities are massive. However, navigating and getting through to the end of the game can be very tough. Capital is available, but how accessible, how affordable? Skills are sometimes a challenge. What do you need to do to get them trained, to get them equipped? There are a lot of regulatory risks that you need to deal with. So becoming expert in many of those domains can be very challenging for businesses. So when businesses do that, they have very less time to focus on their own core operations, which is their own primary domain. So my advice, reserve all of your strength and all of your energy to focus on your own primary domain, but make sure that you get strategic advisors and partners to help you through, working in this environment like Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yomilunguru, for stopping by, and congratulations again on your
Thank
appointment.
you so very much, and I'm really pleased to be here. Fantastic conversation. We didn't have time to go through all of the sessions, but very stimulating. I love what Business Day is doing, and we're very proud that you stayed the course for a quarter of a century, and running this show for the 14th consecutive time is something really commendable. So my appreciation to the publisher, Frank, and to all of you who are supporting the process.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Hello and welcome to Behind the Headline. I am Deborah Eze. The Nigerian exchange is giving investors a reality check after an impressive run the first half of the year. Following a historic peak of about 160.4 trillion naira in market capitalization, the NGX has entered a 20-day correction, shedding 5.42 trillion naira and bringing market capitalization down to about 154.98 trillion naira. The All Share Index has also fallen by 2.14%, although the market still maintains a strong 54.73% year-to-date gain. So, is this simply healthy profit taken after a remarkable rally, or could it signal a deeper market weakness? And with interest rates, inflation, foreign investor participation, and the expected Dangote refinery listing all in play, what should investors expect in the next month ahead? We're being joined by Iyayi Nwachukwu, Assistant Editor here at Business Day, to analyze this conversation. It's good to have you, Mr. Iyayi.
Thank you very much, Stevie, for having me.
All right, a very beautiful piece, I must say, very packed. And I hope you give us a packed response. Now, from what I read, the NGS has lost about 5.42 trillion naira in just 20 trading days, and this is after hitting a record high. Now, do you think investors should see this as a normal market correction after the huge rally that we had, or is there a deeper concern beneath the numbers?
Just like you said, return of over 50% is remarkably impressive, despite what you see about 5 trillion, relatively above 5 trillion, loss in 20 days. It's not something, to worry about. Like I keep telling people, the market, if you look at the trend in the market, the graph is not linear, it's not static, it fluctuates. So that gives you, a guide on what you expect, whenever you're in the market, So expecting the market graph to be linear is wrong, and I expect that people should rather see this as an opportunity to enter the market, So for me, it is normal, it's an opportunity, and it's something, people should as well, know that a market that, takes time to correct itself is also, it's not an abnormal market.
Let's speak about the earlier rally. How sustainable do you think it is? And are we now seeing investors, simply locking profits after the impressive gains?
Yes, profit taking is also normal in the market, and mind you, a lot of people are also speculative in the market. So when people are speculating, they look at, okay, what are the stocks that have, have advanced so that they can, lock in those gains and, either take a walk for a while, temporary walk, watch and enter again. So it is not something, that will make you see everything from a negative perspective, right? So that opportunity remains there. The market has the potential to even go further from where it is. There are many factors, because if you watch a lot of analysts, comments on H2 outlook, it shows you that the market has the tendency to even recoup what it has lost currently. For me, the problem most people have is they want to enter the market when it is already high, but in stock market, you buy the dip. When you buy the dip, there's a tendency that when you buy the dip, the stock will increase. So this is the dip which I expect so many people to leverage now. It's a window, re-entry window for any investor that wants to make money in future.
Let's talk a bit about the people that have taken the biggest hit in all of this. That's the insurance companies, low cap stocks, and also major oil and gas players. They've taken the biggest hit. So what do you think is driving this disappropriation, selling in the sectors? And do you think investors should be worried?
No, like I said before, what goes up definitely
must come down.
And you don't expect the stock to go up and remain there without coming down. For specific stocks, in the oil and gas sector, Aradel is there, and in the insurance sector, of course, we have seen that some the industry just completed its capitalization. So that means we have seen that shows that these are the companies that have that the liquidity to operate in that sector. When you have that liquidity to operate in the sector, it means also that you have the prospects of making more money for investors. The tendency of making more money for investors is there. So it is something that for every opportunity, for every negative you see, there's an opportunity.
Sure.
It does not mean that people should walk out of those stores. No, but I think yes, like you said, in the insurance stocks, many of them are the occupants in that that basket. But for me, where people are seeing the negative, I'm seeing opportunity. Because what is their future like? People should be buying into the future of these companies.
Right. So are you projecting a possible rebound in the second half of 2020?
Yes, it is likely. Okay. Because in the second half we expect a lot of good news coming. The Dangote refinery listing is a major thing that will happen in the market that also pull its own liquidity, and we also next month the possible inclusion of Nigeria into the FTSE index, will attract foreign liquidity into the market. Okay. So, like I said before, this is the time to buy, because when these things start to happen from this month, some of these figures you see will definitely change for good.
All right, help us buttress on the specific
for Nigeria, into the FTSE index, will attract foreign liquidity into the market. Okay. So, like I said before, this is the time to buy, because when these things start to happen from this month, some of these figures you see will definitely change for good.
All right, help us buttress on the specific economic indicators, that would need to improve the optimism to become a reality.
Oh yeah, it's we have seen that the central bank we have policies, monetary policies been relatively favorable. You have seen FX rate stable. We have also seen inflation rate moderating. So that there are signs that the future of the market.
Could all of that actually be significant to the liquidity and the valuation to the NGX? Or?
Yes, because investors put all these things into consideration before they put their money in stocks. They put them into also if you can't predict the next line of decision by the central bank around its benchmark about around the interest rates, around interest rates. If you can't predict it, that means you'll be operating in the market blindly. So as it is, CBN, you can comfortably say with this FS rate stable, Naira it's also gaining, against the dollar, constantly gaining against the dollar. The foreign reserve is also increasing. The inflation rate is moderating. All this put together shows you that for now, the future is, bright.
Right. Let's talk about the anticipated listing of the Dangote petrol refinery and also the petrochemicals. It has been described as one potential, of defining the market, and everyone is looking forward to it. And you also mentioned it. So do you think that the listing would actually provide enough momentum to reverse, the current correction? Or are interest rates and election related uncertainty very important, bigger forces investors should be watching for?
I think this is one big thing that is coming to the market, the listing of Dangote refinery. Everyone is expecting it, and it's not just about Nigerians expecting it. The world, investors across the world are expecting it to come. And like the billionaire, chairman said, he wants to democratize, the listing. That means he wants everybody to have access to it. We are, his plan is that when he's going to host maybe an annual general meeting, he won't go to the hall, he will go to the field.
Yeah.
National Stadium should be the venue for such. So when you have that big dream, massive, of course, that massive, dream, that, when I'm doing my annual general meeting, it wouldn't be in halls. It wouldn't be in halls. It will be in the stadium. That shows you that he wants everybody, every household, every investor to have a share of that, of Dangote refinery. And I think it's something, everybody should look up to, because if there's no value, people who have also, if people won't be interested in it, So you say you follow the money, and you also follow those who know road, So in this case, follow those who know road, so that you can as well, get money.
All right. So looking ahead, of rest of 2026, speak to us about what you think would be the biggest catalyst that could, push the NGX back towards its previous record high.
Debbie, you should agree. You should agree with me that a market that has recorded over 50% return, over 50% return within 8 months, has turned remarkably well.
True.
And this same market has the potential to increase, right? Despite the month-to-date loss, it's still sitting comfortably above 50%, 54 point, So this market, even if it stays like this throughout the year, I'm sure that it has produced a lot of billionaires.
Right. We actually recorded lots of millionaires. We had that headline. I think that was sometime last week on the paper. So yes, I agree with you. So you are somebody who I respect when it comes to the NGX. And if you were to advise an investor today after this 5.42 trillion correction, now what would you tell them? Do you think this is a warning to be cautious, or this is an opportunity for them to position before the next leg of the market?
It is never a warning to be cautious.
Okay.
Investors should have that, should have the take long position in the market, not this short-term position, And for me, if those who took long-term positions in the market, they don't get worried when things like this happen. It's only those speculators that keep getting worried. And speculators get worried because they jump into the market when they see that it's going up. But simple investment scale, buy the dip, then wait for the market to increase, right? As it is now, it's an opportunity, big opportunity, and it's also advisable that for anyone who wants to make money in the market to come in now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anya. It was really good to have you, and such an amazing piece, I must say, on the BusinessDay newspaper. And of course, we'll be speaking to Ian Wachuko, assistant editor here at Business Day Media. And of course, the conversation doesn't end here. We've examined the key issues, explored the context, and unpacked what the development mean going forward. Thank you for watching. I am Deborah Eze. Join us next time on Behind the Headlines.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Moses.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day Television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
And you're welcome back to the Business Morning Live, and you're just in time for the newspaper review, where we get to review what the dailies are saying in the newspapers this morning. And of course, we'll be starting off strong with the Business Day newspaper. And the big story on the Business Day newspaper this morning reads, Eating fees stole Nigeria's broadband expansion plan. Eating fees stole Nigeria's broadband expansion plan. And that story is on page 31 of the Business Day newspaper. And of course, we have at the top of the Business Day newspaper, we have how fake news merchants cash out from disinformation. How fake news merchants cash out from disinformation. And that story is on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper. And still on the Business Day newspaper, we have Dangote Refinery drives sevenfold rise in Nigeria petroleum products exports, EIA says, and that is on page 30. And Nigeria's crypto tax test is whether it can turn visibility into revenue, and that is on page 31. And that's what we have on the Business Day newspaper. To get a hook of the story, understanding of the stories, the headlines, grab yourself a copy of the Business Day newspaper this morning. And of course, we then move to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper this morning reads, Federal government hasting police reform to douse self-help plots in community. I'll take that again. Federal government hasting police reform to douse self-help plots in communities. And that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And at the left corner of the Guardian newspaper, we have South Africa, 65 Nigerians to return today by private sponsorship. And that is on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And still on the left corner, we have manufacturers count cost, begin adjustments to sachet alcohol ban. And that is on page 20 of the Guardian newspaper. And at the bottom of the Guardian newspaper reads, Osibanjo Falana advocates citizen-centered pro-democracy reforms in judiciary. Osibanjo Falana advocates citizen-centered pro-democracy reform in judiciary. Still at the bottom of the Business Day, the Guardian newspaper, I beg your pardon, we have anxiety over attacks on Osun State's local council. Motorpacks as parties trade blame. Anxiety over attacks on Osun State's local council. Motorpacks as parties trade blame. And we have the Benin to Asaba gridlock. Umai accuses contractors of incompetence. At the top of the Guardian newspaper, we have Zenith Bank leads shift to value-added non-oil export. Zenith Bank leads shift to value-added non-oil export. We also have Obi Atiku challenge Tinubu on proxy campaign presidential debate, and that is on page 3. NDLEA apps on assets for feature to discourage crime. NDLEA apps on assets for feature to discourage crime, and that is on page 8. And Tinubu, Jonathan, Dewey, Dixon, Abba unite on merit, integrity in public service. And that's all on the Guardian newspaper. We then now move to the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper this morning reads 19 oil block licenses to expire this year. And the rider to that big story on the Punch, we have 12 PPLs, 7 OPLs affected as tenure dates near. And also NUPRC mulls extension for some expiring oil concessions. An expiry schedule cuts across onshore, offshore oil licenses. And you can get that story on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. At the top of the Punch newspaper, we have Tinubu orders reconstruction of Benin bypass and others. And that is on page 2. And governors spend 512 billion naira on travels and offices, and that is also on page 2. And Dolly Parton, US lowers flag for 1 week, and that is on page 13. And Trump moves to revoke nearly 200,000 asylum seekers visa. You can get that on page 14. And then we can see the picture on Punch, the Eid el-Maulud. Tinubu governors can preach peace and tolerance. At the bottom of the Punch newspaper, states IGR soars 34% despite economic hardship. And also police bust Ogun baby factory, rescue pregnant women and children. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, drug lords' assets must be seized. And that is coming from Mawa. And of course, let's now move to the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper this morning, the big story, highways of Oro. Motorists will spend 4 days on Benin Asaba Road. And the rider there recounts ordeal, federal government to review concessioned roads and apologizes to Nigerians. And that is on page 5. At the top of the Vanguard newspaper, we have crude imports by domestic refineries jump 151.5% in July. And that is coming from the NNDPRA. Dolly Parton, US country music legend, dies at 80. And 2027, why coalition failed to pick single presidential candidate. That's coming from Amechi, and you can find that on page 12. And Zenith Bank rallies trade leaders to drive value addition in non-oil export. That is on page 8. Below the Vanguard paper, we have 2027 presidency, ACF, PANDF, MBF demands scrutiny of candidates' history and background checks, raises moral issues, but law remains supreme. And that is coming from Afeni Ferry, and that is on page 26. Eid el-Maulud, Tinubu governors can, PDP others, preach peace and unity. And that is on page 13. Drug war, Mawa seeks global action to seize traffickers' wealth. And that is on page 13. And US plans revocation of 200,000 visas of asylum seekers. And that is on page 9. And finally, on the Vanguard newspaper, we have Nigeria fight to save 1.4 trillion naira agro product. And the writer there says we are 80% ready. That's coming from the exporters and federal government with its role. And that is on page 3 of the Vanguard newspaper. And the cartoon of the day, we can see a big rat with a big sack that is written State Treasury, and the rat is not called rat, it is called Incumbent Campaign Chest. We all know what a chest is, and we can see how the rat is doing what every rat knows how to do best: destroy money. I think I'm going to call this let's see, what can we call this? This would be a self-sustaining campaign ecosystem. We all know that this has to do with the whole funding, the whole campaign funding. We've had conversations on the Business Money Live concerning that, and also on Reflections Nigeria concerning, electionary financing, campaign financing. Where's the money's coming from? Are some people going to have more advantage than the other? And that's all that we have on the newspaper review this morning. If you want to get the stories and get the actual fact of stories, grab a copy of the Business Day newspaper and go to any of our social media and check out the cartoon of the day. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we have the conversations on the show. Just stay with us.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
For 25 years, BusinessDay has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news. For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Moses.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insight into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Moses.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dorin is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association. All right, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to new organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring, they're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Attention business leaders. Want to make informed decisions? Join the ranks of the best with Premium Business Day. Access in-depth analysis and expert opinions to stay ahead. Subscribe now at premium.businessday.ng and unlock premium content. Plus, you get 50% off your first subscription. Don't miss out. Make smarter choices and seize new opportunities. Sign up now and elevate your business game. Visit premium.businessday.ng today.
Looking for fast and reliable answers to your business and economic questions? Meet SIA, Business Day's Strategic Intelligence Assistant, Nigeria's first AI-powered news chatbot. Simply visit businessday.ng, click the SIA chat icon, and ask your question in plain language. Whether it's inflation, market trends, company insights, government policies, or personal finance, SIA delivers instant answers powered by Business Day's trusted journalism. Smarter insights, faster decisions. Visit businessday.ng today and discover the future of business intelligence with SIA. Looking for fast and reliable answers to your business and economic questions? Meet SIA, Business Day's Strategic Intelligence Assistant, Nigeria's first AI-powered news chatbot. Simply visit businessday.ng, click the SIA chat icon, and ask your question in plain language. Whether it's inflation, market trends, company insights, government policies, or personal finance, SIA delivers instant answers powered by Business Day's trusted journalism. Smarter insights, faster decisions. Visit businessday.ng today and discover the future of business intelligence with SIA. Looking for fast and reliable answers to your business and economic questions? Meet SIA, Business Day's Strategic Intelligence Assistant, Nigeria's first AI-powered news chatbot. Simply visit businessday.ng, click the SIA chat icon, and ask your question in plain language. Whether it's inflation, market trends, company insights, government policies, or personal finance, SIA delivers instant answers powered by Business Day's trusted journalism. Smarter insights, faster decisions. Visit businessday.ng today and discover the future of business intelligence with SIA. Looking for fast and reliable...
Attention business leaders. Want to make informed decisions? Join the ranks of the best with Premium Business Day. Access in-depth analysis and expert opinions to stay ahead. Subscribe now at premium.businessday.ng and unlock premium content. Plus, you get 50% off your first subscription. Don't miss out. Make smarter choices and seize new opportunities. Sign up now and elevate your business game. Visit premium.businessday.ng today.
All right, welcome back to the Business Morning Live right here on Business Day Television. I am Deborah Eze. Now let's move to our topics of conversation this morning. We're examining Nigeria's economic reforms from macro stability to shared prosperity. Nigeria's economy appears to be moving through a period of significant transition from exchange rate reforms and monetary policy adjustment to efforts to improve government revenue and attract investment. The focus is increasingly being on restoring macroeconomic stability. But for many Nigerians, the more important question is what stability actually means for their daily lives. Inflation may be cooling, the Naira has shown greater stability, and the government continues to pursue reforms aimed at strengthening the economy. Yet businesses are still dealing with high operating pressure, and concerns remains around jobs, purchasing power, and the pace at which economic growth is translating into shared prosperity. So, how do we move from stabilizing the number on paper to creating an economy that delivers meaningful improvement in the right direction?
Thank you. Basically, a national economy comprises of macroeconomy and the microeconomy. While development is measured in terms of social development, economic development, and environmental development. The ongoing reform in Nigeria it has improved the macroeconomic space, but it has made less contribution to the microeconomy. There are many factors that could be attributed to that. The subsidy is gone, and during the era of subsidy, according to the government was spending about 40% of Nigerian foreign earning to subsidize petroleum. No, the oil sector.
Right. Yes. We're with you. Do we still have you, Festus?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. We can. Please go ahead.
Okay. The oil sector is about 9% of the Nigerian GDP, but it represents about 70% of Nigerian foreign earning. During the era of the subsidy, Nigeria was spending 40% of foreign earning to subsidize petroleum. But since the current reform, Nigeria has been to save a lot of money because, according to the finance minister, the government has saved about 16 trillion naira in the past 3 years. And about 65% of that saving was allocated to the state government and the local government. But the question is, how has that affected the life of the common Nigeria in the local communities? Also, the subsidy has led to the unification of Nigerian exchange. So there's a close gap. Now there's a close gap between the CBN rate and the market rate. But the problem is that the rate of naira to dollar is still very high. Because when they were pursuing this reform, they were claiming that the real value of naira was 850, contrary to the 430 that the naira was pegged to the US dollar. So they were actually targeting to achieve 850. But at the peak of the reform, the Nigerian currency collapsed to about 1,500. Now, in the past 3 months, it has settled between 1,370 to 1,400. So they have not been able to achieve the target. And that is an erosion on the Nigerian on the purchasing power in Nigeria, because 1,370 to a dollar is strong. It cannot create social sustainability. That can create business sustainability. Also, the reform has led to massive investment in the financial economy. It is expected because Nigerian interest rate is about 27%. Most of the foreign investors will be willing to invest in the banking sector or the stock market for profit maximization. And the question is, how does that create employment? How does it stabilize the social economy? So we've had some gains in the macroeconomic, but has not translated to the microeconomy. For a sustainable development requires that a concurrent development both in the microeconomy and the macroeconomy. The experience we've had over the years for many countries in the world shows that you cannot develop from the financial sector alone. Look at the global financial crisis that was caused by collapse of the stock market. Even the Asian tigers, they were doing the same thing before until 1979 after the Asian economic crisis. They were initially pursuing the market fundamentalism. It's about the market. So after the crisis, they shifted to state-led economy. It's about they employ capital control. They encourage local production. Today, many of those countries are the fastest growing countries in the world. What I'm trying to say is that the big task before the Nigerian government is to translate the gain for the macro development to macro development. And that will need a change of economic strategy on the part of the Nigerian government.
Right. So we would understand that government has repeatedly argued that, the painful reforms were necessary in order to correct years of economic distortion. But at what point do you think Nigerians should begin to see the benefit of these reforms in their everyday lives?
Thank you. I think the next phase of the reform should be majorly, so I think it should be focused more on social development. The fact is that both reform, the idea seems to have been that the country pursue development in the macro space and the micro space concurrently. But if the last 3 years have been dedicated to macro development, it is now time to focus on micro development. Let me give you an example. From the current allocation from federal government to state government, initially before the ongoing reform, according to the finance minister, the average allocation from federal to state was 300 billion naira monthly. Today, they are allocating about 2.7 trillion naira. Look at Nasarawa State, for example. Nasarawa State, there are 3.9 million people in Nasarawa State. Before, the state allocation used to be 3 billion. Today, Nasarawa is receiving about 16 billion naira. And the question is, what is the state doing with that money? I mean, they spend less than 4 billion on civil servants. How has the massive investment contributed to the life of the common people in Nasarawa State? Look at child poverty in the north, for example. In the northwest and the north-south, 90% of the children are experiencing multidimensional poverty. While, according to the World Bank, 75% are out of school. How many children have been enrolled in school in many of the northern states or in Nasarawa State that have about 500,000 out of school children? That is what we mean by social development. I mean, it is time to shift the learning to the local, to the micro, by investing in critical sectors of the economy. For many of the state governments, the idea about the development is just by building roads, building bridges. Development is not just about building roads. There needs to be an investment in key sectors. Look at the agricultural sector, for example. Nigerian households spend about 50% of their earning on food. In the developed country, it's just 10%. This is because there has been less investment in agriculture. In 2026 budget, the government only budgeted 3.5% on agriculture. In the developed countries, more emphasis are focused on agriculture because food security is very essential. When the EU was formed in 1945, one of the earliest policies that was created is called the Common Agricultural Policy. And by then, the government was budgeting about 50% of Nigeria the EU budget on agriculture annually. Today, they were still budgeting about 28% on agriculture. The World Bank actually advised that the low-income countries to budget 20% of their national budget on agriculture. In Nigeria, there is less investment. And look, the government is pursuing a $1 trillion economy. Agriculture can be a very critical area in achieving our objective. The focus has been the financial sector. And I'm not optimistic that the government can achieve that in 2030 because today the GDP is still about less than $350 billion. If you are going to develop social space, we need critical investment at critical sector of the economy. Agriculture is a very critical part that can make good contribution to the GDP. Today, the agricultural sector is about 28% of the Nigerian GDP. That is contributing just $91 billion. Whereas the potential of the agricultural is very huge. If that investment is made in the agricultural sector, the sector can generate about $300 billion to the GDP. Let me give you an example. Nigeria is the world's largest producer of cassava. In 2025, the world output of cassava was about $130 billion. Nigeria was responsible for 20% of world production of cassava. But basically, Nigeria should be generating about $20 billion from cassava. But in 2025, the country only generated about $2 billion because most of the production are for local consumption. And we have rich population, we have rich land areas, we have very good ecological resources. Many of those states can go into massive agricultural mechanization, and that will improve the farm output that can satisfy local demand and sell abroad, generate foreign earning. Improve the trade employment, improve state revenue, and stabilize the currency, because the only means to achieve sustainable currency, that the only means that the Nigerian currency can appreciate against the dollar or other basket of currencies is by reducing in importation and embrace exportation.
Right. So do you think that, from all you've said, do you think that Nigeria is currently prioritizing macroeconomic stability, at the expense of economic growth and the social welfare? Or do you think it's simply the necessary first stage before, sustainable growth can happen?
I think it depends on what the government believes, what kind of development model they embrace time. Let's just assume that, okay, they intend, because for some other countries, they try to pursue both macro development and micro development concurrently. But in Nigeria cases, let's just assume that the government intends to stabilize the macro before they go into the micro space. So in the next 3 years, there should be more development in the macro development, because the government has been encouraging the Nigerian populations to embrace austerity, while the cost of government is very high. Now it is time to focus more on micro development. Look at, for example, if you examine the multiple poverty index in Nigeria, one bank stated that 64% of Nigerians are below the poverty lines in 2025. In 2024, it was about 61 billion people. So the figure has increased by 3 million. And look at, energy is a very critical tool for development. In the past, the government claimed that Nigeria is generating 8,000 megawatts. The question is, how much has been invested in energy production? Because it's a major factor that has hindered industrialization in Nigeria. The Nigerian energy the average energy consumption per capita in Nigeria is 1.6 megaton, which is below African average of 4.6 megaton. We need massive investment in the energy sector. I know the government has decentralized the policy. Now private investors can come to invest in energy. Sometimes there need to be public-private partnerships to drive growth and development. We should not be waiting for the private actors to take. Because private investment, it's all about profit maximization. So only the government that can protect the interests of the people. Look at the Dangote refinery, for example. I've expected Nigeria to have about 40% stake in Dangote refinery. That shall make a lot of difference. What I'm trying to say is that it is time to divert growth and development to the micro space. We need to invest in energy, we need to invest in agriculture, we need to invest in industrialization. If Nigeria is going to industrialize, energy is very, very crucial. In 2026, the government budget about 69 trillion naira for the year. And from those budgets, about 30% will be spent on debt services. The question is, how much is government spending on energy? I was listening to a private investors just a week ago. A week ago, they were trying to generate 1,200 megawatts in Nigeria. And they said they spent about $2 billion for 1,250 megawatts. Assuming from the budget of 69 trillion naira, which is about $50 billion, if the government committed just $4 billion to energy, that will give them about 3,000 megawatts annually. In 3 years, we will have about 9,000 megawatts. Plus this 8,000 that they were generating, that will be 18,000 megawatts. And that will make huge impact in micro development, because energy security is very crucial. Many Nigerians do not have access to electricity. And with that constant light, how do we expect the small scale industry to thrive? In Nigeria, has a small shops like barbing salon that daily sales and marketing. They can't survive. So, and the big country we talk about, China, the two biggest economies in the world, China and the US, 80% of their exports are produced by small scale industries. It's not by having large factory is fine, but most exports are actually produced by small scale of industry. but there are a lot of support from the government. Loans today, the interest rate is, as I said earlier, is 27%. It's not sustainable for businesses. We are not going to drive growth in the micro space with which interest rate. It's not possible. So the government needs to shift their approach towards development. The state government must be involved. Every arms of the government must be involved. The federal government must take the lead. It's time. It is time. I mean, we should not be expecting just the private actors to do all the investment. I mean, it's about that. I mean, for the private investment, it's about profit maximization. The most sustainable countries in the world, most many of the countries, Asian countries, the countries, I mean, the governments are very, I mean, they are very involved in development trajectory in many of those countries.
All right. We both can agree that Nigeria has a young population, a huge young population, but unemployment and underemployment and also low productivity remains a concern. So what economic model do you think can convert this demographic advantage into, profitable or productive jobs and also sustainable wealth?
It is very important. I mean, we need to, as I said earlier, we need to improve and create sectors of the economy. We need, I mean, with energy security, that can stimulate growth. It can stimulate industrialization. Because Nigeria are some of the most intelligent and, capable people in the world. I mean, with energy security, we may not actually need much foreign investment to stimulate growth and development. Nigeria are very creative. If you get a steady light, they're going to produce. I mean, the population is expanding by 4 billion people annually. And there's no employment. The government is not responsible. There's no light, no energy, no insecurity everywhere. It is high time to begin to create policies that can engage the youth on agriculture, on technology, on infotech. I mean, there are many things that the government can do. I mean, create an environment by which talent can strive. The government has to be responsible. We have to change the way we do things in this part of the world. Things are not done this way.
All right. Let's look at the question also of government spending. The cost of governance. Do you think Nigeria is spending too much simply to just run government? Leaving us little to no infrastructure or human capital and productivity investment?
Exactly, because to me, I don't think as a $350 billion economy, what the government spend on current expenditure is not, it will not be necessary. It's not good for economic sustainability. The Nigerian cost of government is very high. The allocation to the National Assembly, the three arms of government. Today, the army of the federal parastatals, the National Assembly is still contestable. It's still very contestable. Nobody wants the earn. They are claiming the earn $10,000, $15,000 or $20,000. But a $350 billion economy with over 230 million population. We don't expect such in such a country that people should be earning $10,000 to $20,000. Public service is to save, it's not for personal profit. It's to save the people. It's about public service to save the people. So the Nigerian cost of government have to be reduced drastically. Look at the Nigerian budget, for example. As I said earlier on, the government is spending about 30% of the budget on debt services, and so they close the spending on fuel subsidy. And still borrowing. And what the government have borrowed in the past 3 years, according to a lot of publications, it's much than what the previous government has borrowed. So they close the gap in subsidy, they're still borrowing more. It doesn't make sense. In the long run, it's not going to bring the outcome that is needed for social development or macro development. So we need to live beyond our means. We need to. Nigeria came to be the giant of Africa, but the GDP is just $350 billion for about 230 million people. It's not sustainable. So the country needs leaders that can take proactive actions in developing, implementing policies that will make changes to the economy.
So let's talk about our GDP growth, because we often celebrate, our GDP growth, but the GDP growth does not necessarily mean better living standard. We know that. So what indicators do you think Nigerians and policymakers should be looking at in order to determine whether the economy is genuinely improving?
If we share the indicators, if you look at the money poverty index, for example, you see that more Nigerian people are becoming poorer every day with the current reform. In 2023, according to the UNDP, the University of Oxford and Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, they claim that 55% of Nigeria are below the poverty line, and 40.1% are experiencing monetary poverty. And that was when the rate of dollar to naira was still about 4.30. Today at 1.30. You can imagine the figure of Nigeria that we are experiencing monetary poverty, because there's a direct relationship between currency stability and monetary poverty. So if I want to measure an economy, it's not just about having GDP. We have to think about, access to education. How many of Nigerians, I said earlier on, millions of Nigerians cannot access education. Access to public aid. The number of doctors we have in Nigeria is too small to the population. Many of the adults are traveling abroad for better opportunity, because the payment, the income is too low. Look at access to education, access to aid, community development. They are not there. The life expectancy in Nigeria is still about 41 to 43 years. So these are low development. The income is low. Nigeria has one of the lowest income in the world. So we cannot just be celebrating big GDP. And to me, even $50 billion is not a big GDP compared to the population. And if you examine the Nigerian population by purchasing power parity, it's about $2 trillion. But by nominal, it's $50 billion. So what that suggests is that the real potential of Nigerian economy should be over $1 trillion. But because we have government that doesn't know how things work, the only thing they know is building roads, building bridges, without proactive investment in key sectors. We have huge population. 55% of Nigerian population are youth. It's a massive investment. The massive investment has provided international development. But this government is not me. They have been doing the same thing over the years. It cannot bring the expected outcome. It is time to change our approach to development. Development is measured in terms of macro, as I said earlier on, and macro. But today, Nigeria is not there yet. Nigeria is the largest producer of liquefied natural gas. The fourth largest producer of rare minerals. The 17th largest producer of oil. Today, despite those huge natural resources, the majority of population are still below the poverty line. It doesn't make economic sense.
Thank you so much for your time on the show, Festus. It was really good to have you. Wonderful analysis from you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be speaking to Festus Tokumbo. Is a UK-based Nigerian consultant. He's an entrepreneur, political and development economist, and also a global affairs analyst. And still to come after the break, we're going to be looking at politics, policy, and economy, how Nigeria's political choices shape business confidence. Do stay with us.
Nigeria, a land of boundless energy, driven by the pulse of over 200 million dreams. At the heart of this momentum stands a giant, Seplat Energy, an indigenous powerhouse accounting for a vital share of Nigeria's oil and gas output, propelled by the historic acquisition milestone with the acquisition of ExxonMobil's onshore and shallow water assets, significantly expanding its production capacity and marking its entry into offshore operations. We are the engine of prosperity, Nigeria's leading domestic gas supplier with a total gas production output of 2.7 billion cubic feet, and the landmark ANO gas project delivering first gas, we have elevated our total processed gas output to 855 million standard cubic feet per day onshore. Indeed, we have brought domestic gas utilization to new heights, powering industries and securing energy for millions. But we are not just growing production, we're growing responsibly. By ending routine flares, we are decarbonizing our operations today to protect the Nigeria of tomorrow. Our reach is expanding. From offshore gas distribution to the growth of CNG for transport and industry, we are deepening our presence across the entire value chain. Our impact reaches the grassroots. Through innovative mini-grid projects, we are bringing clean, reliable energy to local communities, fueling economic empowerment where it's needed most. We are more than an energy company. We are a partner in progress, a leader in the energy transition, a giant rooted in Nigeria for Nigeria. Seplat Energy, leading Nigeria's energy transition, powering the future.
Every legacy has a beginning. Ours evolved, built on trust and carried forward as a second-generation family legacy. Bemio has grown into Nigeria's largest cash-in-transit provider, trusted where precision and reliability matter most. But we are more than movement. We deliver protection at every level, from professional guarding to journey management to concierge services. And through Bemio Polo, we reflect the identity, heritage, and standards we uphold. This is modern service. This is a legacy in motion. Bemio, your partner to safer living.
At Providus Bank, we're committed to your growth and success. You're never alone on the journey. Our personalized relationship banking is how we do things together. It's what sets us apart. We value every individual and partnership and treat them as such. We're committed to helping you grow and celebrating your success. This is your life story, your future, your forward. This is all about you. Let's move you forward. Providus Bank.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning Live. Let's now move to our second conversation this morning. Politics, policy, and economy. How Nigeria's political choices shape business confidence. Now, business confidence is not driven by economic numbers alone. Investors and businesses also pay close attention to political stability, government policies, regulatory consistency, and the credibility of institutions. In Nigeria, major economic reforms can create opportunities for growth, but uncertainty around policy direction, political transitions, and implementation can also make businesses cautious about investing and expanding. As the country moves closer to the 2027 political circle, questions around policy continuity, investor confidence, and the relationship between politics and economic performance are becoming increasingly important. What do Nigerian political choices mean for businesses, investors, and the broader economy? And to join us to have this conversation, we're being joined by Good morning, Mr. Obina Ejanya. Do we have you?
Yeah, I'm online.
All right, we're being joined by Obina Ejanya, is the CEO, Nine Communications Limited, and he is a political analyst. Good morning, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, let's start with the fundamental question. How much does political stability actually influence business confidence in Nigeria? And can an economy perform strongly when businesses are uncertain about the political environment?
Yes, of course. The politics of the country affects economic decisions, in a very greater measure. So the policies of a government affect the decision of investors and macroeconomic stakeholders in the business of the country. And in the case of Nigeria, where we have there's no political policy stability, we have not gotten to the point where there is continuity in policies. So sometimes it creates doubts in the mind of business stakeholders. So, for example, in this dispensation of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we can see that he has put in place a lot of policies that have stabilized the macroeconomy. However, we are yet looking at the economy, the effect of the economy trickling down to the rest of the population, so that there will be stability in a microeconomy. So the policies yet that we see in the country are the ones that are still at the upper echelon of the population. So it really affects the economy and the confidence of investors.
All right, so we understand that Nigeria has undertaken some major economic reforms in recent years, and I'm speaking from the fuel subsidy removal to exchange rate reforms. Now, these policies have, come with significant short-term pain. Speak to us about how important is political will in having to sustain these reforms long enough for businesses and also households to begin seeing the benefits.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that one thing in Nigerian political trajectory is making a policy. Another thing is understanding the psychology, the intention that underpin those policies. Sometimes policies are meant in order to impress people who are on my side. In terms of Nigerian politics, we see that the avenues that bring people into power in Nigerian politics are the ones that are very, very rigorous and, not transparent enough. So, and for you to emerge the head in Nigerian politics, you have a lot of sacrifices to make. So, and while you make those sacrifices, you input a lot of resources, and you build a lot of blocks, people to support you, people to build, to campaign with you, to support you. You need to really emerge forcefully and sometimes undemocratically. So, and when you come up, you start making policies that would, as well, remunerate and recompensate those people, compensate them for their effort, and recompensate as well the resources that you have put into all those efforts to emerge the winner. So we have to look at policies. Some policies are very good. They should be, the policies that should change the country, the country's economic trajectory to the better one. But however, sometimes the intentions and the psychology behind those policies are the ones that weigh it down and make it, more unproductive than productive. So far, we have seen a lot of policy changes in the country implemented by the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I personally, I applaud him for the boldness to, the courage to take those, policies to implement those policies. However, we see that the implementation is where the problem lies. The implementation is where the problem lies because the stakeholders, the people that should enforce these policies and make sure that it affects the larger part of the population, they are not, treating those policies as, with the transparency that it requires. Therefore, it has not yielded the expected positive results.
So one of the major concerns for investors is actually this policy inconsistencies. So how damaging, could you explain to us, is it when successive governments have to reverse, they have to suspend or significantly alter policies that was introduced by previous administrations?
Yes, that is that is why I was making my laying emphasis on the the lack of transparency. Our democracy hasn't become matured enough to for democratic processes, the process of electioneering to be transparent enough and be in a purely democratized system. So we still practice maneuvering. You maneuver into power. When you maneuver into power, you have to make policies to please and compensate your blocks. So that is the problem. And in so doing, you don't mind about the previous policies that were in place. You can easily trash them because they may not favor your own cronies. So that is the problem. So once there's no consistency and continuity in policies, economic policies, that creates a kind of lack of trust and lack of confidence in the minds of investors and on even a macro level, and also affecting the foreign direct investors.
Right. So, as now, the focus now is the fact that we are moving closer to the 2027 elections. Now, do you think businesses and investors, should already be factoring political risks into their decision, or would that be premature for them to do that?
Of course, I personally, I am based in I'm not only resident, I'm halfway resident in Nigeria, halfway resident overseas, and I have foreign partners. Right now, everybody is skeptical. They are not even sure if the electioneering process will, be peaceful enough, to avoid, any kind of problem that will, erupt after the election. Whether the election will be peaceful, and they see the insecurity in the country is alarming. The insecurity is alarming, and those things weigh on the decisions of especially foreign investors who we need for just looking for a policy that could just know he still has to play the role of a politician that wants to retain his power. He still has to demonstrate that he's still the president for everyone.
Okay, let's speak about the growing debate around taxation and government revenue. How do you think policymakers raise revenue in order to fund development without having to, create an environment where businesses will feel overly taxed or overtaxed or discouraged from investing?
Generally, the taxation policies, for me, they are overwhelming. And in terms of the values, if you check how much they are not really comparatively, if you compare it with other developed countries, they are not so high. But however, what business people and stakeholders are considering is the infrastructure deficiency. Because if I have to, pay for my power supply, if I have to privatize my own, I have to have a private source of energy, private source of transportation, private source of power supply, and all these things, and transportation is very high, and then you come around to come and tax me heavily, then that weighs down, that makes the economy also, the inflation to also keep rising. So if government has put some infrastructural development in place and stabilize them, and then you can tax the people and they will comfortably, comply without any grudges.
All right, so before I let you go, if you were to identify the 3 political and policy decisions that Nigeria must get right between now and 2027 to protect business confidence and sustain economic growth, what would they be, and what happens to the economy if we get them wrong?
So first of all, I wouldn't like to go into enumerating 3 policies. I will just enumerate 1 policy. You see, the first policy that was introduced by the president on his first day of inauguration as the president, a removal of subsidy. I see it as a rushed policy because Nigeria is solely dependent on fuel. The economy of this country is run on fuel. I run business as well, and I know that for you to run business, now people are moving to solar system. Before this removal of forces subsidy, people were using generators, and if you have all those giant generators and you are fueling it with 200,000 naira, for a day, sometimes hotel owners, they spend a whole lot of money to fuel their generator sets, and houses. All those things take a whole lot on the economy of individuals. So I would say that what the government must do, this government or any government that may come in, what they must do is to make sure that there is, money in circulation. How do you create money to be in circulation? By making sure that the people, the population, the Nigerian population, in microeconomic level, that they have money in their pocket to spend. Now, right now, average Nigerians spend over about 90% of their income to be able to afford food. And these are people that also do not care about if they have electricity in their homes, if they have this and that. So there's gross inflation to buy food, to buy things that are necessary needs that you need. The necessities of life are still so expensive. So the government should implement, first of all, implement policy that the average citizen of Nigeria has enough money to spend. And sometimes people, overrate things and look at the microeconomy and say, okay, we now have our GDP is growing, our foreign reserve is now 56 million, and all those things. They are good, but let me tell you, if you have a business and you are an investor and you spend maybe $100 million to build a factory, you expect the market, the purchasing power to also be boosted so that people can buy. But when the purchasing power has depreciated and people couldn't afford to pay for those things you are producing, you still won't do well in that investment. So the first policy that is very, very important is to make sure to implement policies that leave people's income in their pocket for them to be able to spend. You know, that is why when there's economic crisis in Western countries, you see that the government will start sharing money to companies to pay to staffs, to give them incentives that will make them to have adequate enough money to spend. So that is the real economy. The real economy is from the people. The human development index is still very poor in Nigeria. So I want the government to implement policies. I advocate against the subsidy removal, in spite of the corruption that's so much in that subsidy payments. However, I don't think for now the economy on micro level has matured enough for subsidies to be removed. So I think what the government must do is to make sure that the human development is improved, that the people are, the effect of economic hardship is relieved on the people.
Thank you very much for your time on the show, Mr. Obinna. It was really good to have you on the Business Money Live.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, we'll be speaking to Obinna Ejianya, is the CEO, Nine Communications Limited, and also a political analyst. After the break, we're going to be looking at luxury, culture, and commerce, the business behind the glamour. Just stay with us.
Nigeria, a land of boundless energy, driven by the pulse of over 200 million dreams. At the heart of this momentum stands a giant, Seplat Energy, an indigenous powerhouse accounting for a vital share of Nigeria's oil and gas output, propelled by the historic acquisition milestone with the acquisition of ExxonMobil's onshore and shallow water assets, significantly expanding its production capacity and marking its entry into offshore operations. We are the engine of prosperity, Nigeria's leading domestic gas supplier with a total gas production output of 2.7 billion cubic feet and the landmark Ano gas project delivering first gas. We have elevated our total processed gas output to 855 million standard cubic feet per day onshore. Indeed, we have brought domestic gas utilization to new heights, powering industries and securing energy for millions. But we are not just growing production, we're growing responsibly. By ending routine flares, we are decarbonizing our operations today to protect the Nigeria of tomorrow. Our reach is expanding. From offshore gas distribution to the growth of CNG for transport and industry, we are deepening our presence across the entire value chain. Our impact reaches the grassroots. Through innovative mini-grid projects, we are bringing clean, reliable energy to local communities, fueling economic empowerment where it's needed most. We are more than an energy company. We are a partner in progress, a leader in the energy transition, a giant rooted in Nigeria for Nigeria. Seplat Energy, leading Nigeria's energy transition, powering the future.
At Providus Bank, we're committed to your growth and success. You're never alone on the journey. Our personalized relationship banking is how we do things together. It's what sets us apart. We value every individual and partnership and treat them as such. We're committed to helping you grow and celebrating your success. This is your life story, your future, your forward. This is all about you. Let's move you forward. Providus Bank.
Looking for fast and reliable answers to your business and economic questions? Meet SIA, Business Day's Strategic Intelligence Assistant, Nigeria's first AI-powered news chatbot. Simply visit businessday.ng, click the SIA chat icon, and ask your question in plain language. Whether it's inflation, market trends, company insights, government policies, or personal finance, SIA delivers instant answers powered by Business Day's trusted journalism. Smarter insights, faster decisions. Visit businessday.ng today and discover the future of business intelligence with SIA. Looking for fast and reliable answers to your business and economic questions? Meet SIA, Business Day's Strategic Intelligence Assistant, Nigeria's first AI-powered news chatbot. Simply visit businessday.ng, click the SIA chat icon, and ask your question in plain language. Whether it's inflation, market trends, company insights, government policies, or personal finance, SIA delivers instant answers powered by Business Day's trusted journalism. Smarter insights, faster decisions. Visit businessday.ng today and discover the future of business intelligence with SIA.
Every legacy has a beginning. Ours evolved. Built on trust and carried forward as a second-generation family legacy, Bemio has grown into Nigeria's largest cash-in-transit provider, trusted where precision and reliability matter most. But we are more than movement. We deliver protection at every level, from professional guarding to journey management to concierge services. And through Bemio Polo, we reflect the identity, heritage, and standards we uphold. This is modern service. This is a legacy in motion. Bemio, your partner to safer living. Every legacy has a beginning.
Welcome back to the Business Morning Live Show, and we're going to be examining luxury, culture, and commerce, the business behind the glamour. Nigeria's wedding industry is often associated with glamour, elaborate celebrations, and luxury. But behind the beautiful gowns, styling, and ceremonies is a significant business ecosystem, creating jobs, driving consumer spending, and showcasing Nigerian creativity to the world. As Nigerian bridal fashion gains more international visibility, the question is how much economic value can the industry create, and what does it take to build a globally competitive luxury bridal brand from Nigeria? And joining us to explore this is Segun Olaleye, an international bridal stylist, also known as Segun Gele. It's really an honor to be with you this morning, Segun.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, let's talk luxury. Speak to us about how significant the Nigerian diaspora has become to the growth of, the country's bridal fashion and styling industry.
The Nigerian diaspora, when it comes to wedding, when it comes to the culture, they don't just want to get married. Right. They want to infuse their Nigerian culture into everything they do. Mm-hmm. They want to have their own uniqueness. They want to have their own identity. And the best way we can do it is doing it within a country that has multiple cultures. So you can choose to pick from here, pick from there, to create something unique for yourself. Mm-hmm. So that on its own, makes the Nigerian wedding industry bigger than what we think it is.
So what do this, diasporan brides have in mind when they actually come to meet a Nigerian bridal stylist?
Authenticity.
Okay.
Authenticity in all its ramification. Mm-hmm. Like I've worked with some brides that were born in America, but they don't want to lose their culture. They don't want to lose their identity. They don't want to lose that flavor. You know, everything we see, and thanks to social media, everything we see even in the social media today has influenced so many things, you know. So they want something that cannot be replicated by somebody else. That's why, I mean, kudos to all the Nigerian wedding industry, the wedding dressers, photographer, media people, and everything. Every event is unique. Every wedding is totally different. You know, so that authenticity is one thing they look out for, that they know they cannot get outside the shores of Nigeria.
Right.
They have to come back home to motherland to make sure they get that particular piece they're looking
And about
for.
coming back home, we see more of, you know, Nigerians actually flying their stylists, the designers for their weddings, which is something that we didn't usually see. Speak to us about the opportunity for the creative professionals now.
It is a big ecosystem.
Right.
It is a big ecosystem, I must tell you. I mean, for those of us that actually live outside the shores of Nigeria, I've had situations where they actually, apart from having their dresses made in Nigeria, they actually flew the designers into America, into London, into Canada, Europe, to actually make sure their dresses are fitted the way it's supposed to be done. You know, I mean, I've had weddings where Matopeda was flown in, where Vicky James was flown in. We've had Adi Funke flown into America. You know, we've had Arike flown into America to get all these things done. We've had photographers being flown in. Are we saying there are not other creatives like that in America? No, the flavor we get from Nigeria is totally very, very different. And likewise, you know, I was recently flown in from Houston to Lagos to style a bride for her wedding, not because there are no other stylists here, you know, but because she believes I was that one person that understood what she wanted, working with the creatives, the designers. All her designers were from here, by the way, and even the ones that lived outside of Nigeria were Nigerians. You know, so it's understanding the culture, and the environment plays a very, very big role.
I was going to ask that. How is it different styling a Nigerian bride and one who is actually a Nigerian bride based in Lagos, and one is actually a Nigerian bride also based in London, who's staying and, you know, the diaspora market?
So the environment plays a huge difference. For a Nigerian bride that lives in Nigeria, that stays in Nigeria, everybody understands how the event is going to flow, right? But for those that live outside the shores of Nigeria, it's totally different. You have to work with someone that understands the cultural difference. Nigeria, right? Merging it with the culture of its natural ecosystem where the wedding is happening. Now you have to try to interpret and translate it to the guests, you know, that are going to, like, for instance, I did a multicultural wedding. The bride is Nigerian, the groom is Indian. That was my very first one. Now, those are two huge cultures. When they do their parties, it's the biggest. They came on the elephant, you know, all the big stuff. And it was different for me. I have been to weddings all over the world, I promise you, but that was a huge one. Culturally, I had to shift my mindset to understand the significance, just like we do a traditional wedding, right? And you have the drummers when the bride is coming in and everything, you know, they are dancing in the area one, everything. We have to explain it to them. It was totally different. So the environment makes a difference. But in Nigeria, even if it's an Edo bride, Ishekiri, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Ijo, any tribe, the environment, the people already understands what is going to be happening from point A to point B.
Right. On the lighter note, I was going to ask you learned this in school. How do you put this together? Because like mathematics in my head.
Well, I've been in the wedding industry for about 30 years.
Right.
You know, so this is something I have acquired over time. You know, I have worked in different aspects of the industry. I've worked as a hairdresser, as a makeup artist, as a gala person. I have done event planning. I have learned how to sew myself, you know, and I've been able to curate something for myself that, you know, when you find me, you can only find me. You cannot find somebody else like me. So,
right. Let's talk about the Nigerian market. Do you think that we're adequately positioned to actually serve the diaspora market, or do you think the market is still, through referrals on social media, or already an ecosystem itself that we can adequately serve?
We are an ecosystem that we can serve any part of the world,
right,
only if we have the right infrastructures.
Okay.
That's the only barrier, that's the only challenge. And one thing that for me is going to help us thrive in that area is trust. You understand what I'm saying? I want a situation where people have to be confident to reach out to a brand in Nigeria, and be able to speak to the brand owner, to be able to help them get exactly what they want. When they say they will deliver by so time, they deliver at that time.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, in terms of infrastructure, I've had situations where dresses were made here. We know how much the dresses cost. I don't even need to, say, and the dress got shipped over to America, and due to some strike or something, it was left out there. It rained. The dress had mold in it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And by the time it got to America, they could not salvage it and everything. There are some things that we need to put in place for Nigerian brands, Nigerian brands generally, to be able to succeed. So if you can have that infrastructure in place. And when we're talking wedding industry, we're not just talking people that makes the dress.
True.
We're talking about the hairdressers, the makeup artists, the gele artists, the photographers, the decorators. Now let's talk about the decorators. You cannot find anywhere in the world, and I'm not saying it because I'm Nigerian. We look forward to looking at wedding decorations made out of Nigeria. Do you understand what I'm saying? The elements, the pieces and everything. You can imagine us bringing that on Grammy stage.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So the opportunity is there. We're not just exporting the talent. We're talking about intellectual property, and these are actually embedded in the people. So even when you take these things, hand it over to somebody else, they will not deliver the work the way the people, the Nigerians that are doing it, they can never deliver that way.
So do you think we can actually turn this into a structural export?
We sure can.
Right.
We sure can, because nowadays, if you really truly take a look at it, we have lots of celebrities in Nigeria reaching out to Nigerian designers to make their clothes for red carpets.
Right.
All we need is the right infrastructure. That's all we need.
So what does the diaspora market actually teach us about, the global appetite for Nigerian culture and also fashion?
It's huge. We just need to position ourselves in the right place, in the right space, at the right time. We're doing good so far. You understand what I'm saying? Just like Afrobeat, when Afrobeat started, it got predicted that Afrobeat is going to be the #1 genre of music. And here we are today. Afrobeat is leading in the world. The same thing with the Nigerian fashion. And as time goes by, I promise you, in the next 5 to 10 years, nobody would want to do anything without stepping into the shores of Nigeria.
Right. But speak to us about the challenges. You've talked about the glamour to all of this and the build up to it, how, a perfect wedding is actually done. But what are the biggest challenges that, you face when it comes to international bride?
The biggest challenge when it comes to international bride. I sincerely, with those I have worked with, working with the right people, having the right team, having the right creatives, I sincerely cannot pick one thing particularly to say is a challenge. Even international, local and everything, the only challenge I would say is timing, timelines. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times they do not understand the intricacies of how long it takes for a dress to be made. You might want a dress, like now I'm telling, we're in August, I'm telling my 2027 brides, if your order does not go in before October, you cannot have it ready for an April wedding.
Ooh.
And that's the truth. It's just like working in China. By China, they shut down at a particular point in time. All their fabrics. Now, people think because they are doing stuff in Nigeria it's meant to be cheap. No, everybody wants luxury. They want the pearls, the rhinestones, the beadings, everything on their dress. They want the intricacies. All those things are shipped from outside the country. Now, you think you're paying them in Nigeria, but the designers here, they are buying in US dollars. They are buying in other foreign exchange currencies. You understand what I'm saying? So if the country, Nigeria, can make it possible for us, now I'm going to say us, because now I'm going to put myself as a Nigerian, if they can make it possible for us to be able to do the transactions, making it easier. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, the exchange rates, if the dollar exchange rates can come down to be able to, for them to be able to afford to do so many things at a lower price, you know, then I think it's going to help us a great deal.
Right. So speak to us about what you think needs to change within the industry. I understand that, like I said, glamour is associated with your industry, but I'm sure that, you know, there are things that needs to be changed in the industry. And do you think there are actually opportunities in the industry that we are undermining?
So talking about change, like I particularly, for one, say, if I cannot speak to the owner of the brand directly, I'm not going to work with the brand.
Okay.
I've had a situation where brides reach out to brands in Nigeria paying as much as 10 million naira, to say the least, you know, for a dress, and they cannot communicate with the owner of the brand. But now let's take a look at it on the reverse side. If something happens, right, if the design is misinterpreted, if there's a loss in translation in what the client wants, and you deliver something that was not requested, you know, you deliver something that the particular attention to detail were not in there, your staff will not be the one refunding the money. You will be the one refunding the money.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's one thing I sincerely would like to see change. Businesses, brands need to protect themselves. It takes a lot to come up with the designs. It takes a lot to curate the look. It takes a lot, you know, to piece ideas together. You understand what I'm saying? You know, for you to do all of this, you know, then it should take you a lot to invest your personal time into making sure you get a satisfied client. It's easier to say, oh, we can refund their money, but that's not what we want to do. We want to get the business. We want to stay with the business. We want to always have a satisfied client. Now you can say, oh, but I'm just one person doing this. Some brands have successfully structured their business in a way that when they are not there, the business still runs. I don't just want to drop names. I can tell you of some brands that are doing it and are doing it successfully. You know, so to those that have not mapped out that structure for themselves, I think it's something they need to look into.
Right. And let's are we undermining the creative industry? Because apart from oil and also now education, no one wants to be the conversation when it comes to, you know, opportunities in the economy. So do you think we are underestimating the diaspora bridal or the bridal itself industry?
The wedding industry in the next 5-10 years, I think is going to be bigger than oil. So yes, we are undermining it because there is so much. There is so much that is involved in that ecosystem itself. There is so much. And people get married every day. It's not even just wedding. We do, like they just did the coronation. Did you see the coronation?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the richness? Did you see the culture? I mean, did you see the boat ride? How much do you think that cost by itself? Even though that was not a wedding. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there are similar events like that. So the entertainment industry in general, you know, minus music, is being underestimated.
Right.
You know, recently the was it the AMVCA they did? You know, and I heard even international, it is so huge that international fashion analysts are beginning to make sure they cover our red carpets even when they are not there. That's how big we're getting.
Right. Thank you very much, Shegun. It's really an eye-opening conversation this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we've been speaking to Shegun Olaleye, also known as Shegun Gele, is an international bridal stylist. And of course, the Business Money Live show continues with the social listening segment after this break. Just stay with us.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
Well, this is still the BusinessDay CEO Forum, the 14th edition, and it's still a very epic moment here at Eco Hotel and Suites, speaking with CEOs, key stakeholders, and business leaders. And now I'm speaking with the CEO of Aga Khan University Hospital, is Mr. Koram Jamal. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking you about some of the key takeaways that you've gotten from this event. I mean, you've been here for a while now, and then you had a presentation. Talk to me about what you think about this year's theme, which is from stability to shared prosperity, and also some of the key takeaways that you might have gotten from some of the sessions which we had here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for BusinessDay for inviting the Aga Khan University Hospital to participate in this very fruitful CEOs Forum. A lot of interesting talks and topics have been talked about this today, including energy, finance, banking, issues and challenges that are facing the Nigerian business sector, and what the business community, the government, along with the private sector are planning to do to come together and take the agenda forward. So it has been very interesting. Ours was really to do with the healthcare sector. And what we as an Aga Khan University Hospital, which is a private not-for-profit teaching tertiary hospital, is planning to do in terms of trying to keep the African patients not going abroad outside of the continent, but they can acquire quality healthcare within Africa.
And then when you speak about quality healthcare within Nigeria, I think Africa is really important because every year we see billions of dollars leaving Africa out of the African continent, for medical treatment abroad. And we see also that many of our best healthcare professionals, I'll speak also from the standpoint of being a Nigerian, many of our best healthcare professionals are leaving the country. And I know this also is happening in other African countries. How do we reverse this brain drain that is going on?
Yes, so I spoke about a few things. One is regularly building talent. That's number one. Number two is ensuring that we pay what is right to our physicians. Number three, what is also very important is if we do not provide the right practicing environment for physicians, then they have no other choice but to leave the countries where they're coming from. So for a cardiologist who has spent 12, 13, 14 years training to become a specialist, if he does not have the right environment in which to practice medicine, whether it's to do with outpatient consulting clinic work, or whether it's to do with the cath lab, diagnostic and interventional procedures, or whether it's to do with the recovery that takes place for these patients in the coronary care unit, if those facilities do not exist, then those cardiologists will simply not stay. So those are the challenges that we're currently facing, and that is what we as the private sector and as the government need to come together to ensure that we provide the right environment for our physicians to practice quality medicine.
Right. And I like when you said practicing quality medicine. That also brings me to the issue of trust, because trust happens to be a very recurring theme, especially in the healthcare sector. How do we get to the point where we begin to trust, the healthcare sector, to begin to trust, to make use of, healthcare within the continent?
Right. So another very important factor. Remember, the patients normally just see the physicians, but behind the physicians, you have other different clinical care providers, which includes nurses and allied health professionals. So they work cohesively as a team in providing that quality care to the patients. We at the Aga Khan University Hospital, we were the very first institution in sub-Saharan Africa to accredit ourselves with Joint Commission International. Now, this is an international gold standard quality accreditation for healthcare institutions, where you have more than 200 standards and over 1,200 measurable elements that you are regularly surveyed on, which assesses how good you are when it comes to delivery of quality care to patients. Besides this, we are also College of American Pathologists accredited laboratory. We also have 2 centers of excellence in stroke and heart attacks, which is a CCPC program from Joint Commission International, and the list goes on. So this is our way of showing to the patient that not only do we have the brightest minds in the institution, not only do we have the fantastic infrastructure and equipment, but we also have external quality accreditations with us that demonstrate our commitment to providing quality care.
Right. And you speak a lot about, collaboration within African healthcare. I know you had partnerships also with Kenyan Airways. What does it take to truly create a healthcare system which is, co-creating, collaborating? What does that look like?
So we have tried to, at least in our most recent partnership that we've now done with Kenya Airways, what that means is for the patients that are here in Nigeria, they can have access to quick airline tickets, they can have access to subsidized and discounted airfares, they can even have access to preferred seating arrangement within the aircrafts. They will also have access to stretchers and oxygen cylinders. And once those patients actually land in Nairobi, then our team from the Nairobi side will ensure that the patients are properly picked up from the airport through an ambulance, brought to the hospital immediately, so that continuity of care continues. Those patients may also even come with their own relatives and loved ones. So we have made arrangements for those loved ones to stay nearby the hospital. So we've created possibilities for accommodation. And after the care is done and those patients return back to their home country in Nigeria, the care doesn't stop. Our physicians in Nairobi will continue to stay in touch with the primary physicians here in Nigeria through teleconsultations and virtual care, so that we ensure that the care does not stop. So that is a type of a collaboration, and this is just one example that I'm giving you where how we're trying to make an impact or a positive impact in the lives of Nigerians.
My final question for you, because I know you have to run, will be what you see shared prosperity in healthcare looking like in the next 10 years.
So we need to come together. I think the integrated health systems is the way to go. Once we come together is when the shared prosperity really materializes. And I'll give you an example of the Alcan Health Services, which is working towards creating an integrated health solution between Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, all three of them being in East African nations, where all the 3 or 4 different hospitals that exist as part of the integrated health network and a network of nearly 100 medical centers come together, work together as an hub and spoke model, share the best practices, share technology, share cross-border and cross-functional trainings. These are the types of prosperity and shared practices that we're looking towards.
Right. Thank you very much for spending your time with us and stopping by at our booth today, Mr. Kurum. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
For 25 years, Business Day has delivered credible journalism, intelligent analysis, and decision-shaping insights to Nigeria and Africa's business community. Introducing Africa's first AI-integrated website, enhanced with powerful new capabilities. At the heart of the new platform is the AI-enabled chatbot, built to help you navigate stories faster, ask questions, get summaries, and access deeper context instantly. Text-to-speech functionality, allowing you to listen to articles on the go.
The Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, has recorded an 11.8% growth in air traffic.
Whether you're commuting, driving, or multitasking, Business Day now moves with you. And with our new language translation feature, our journalism becomes even more accessible. You can select your preferred language, thereby expanding reach across diverse audiences in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. This innovation reinforces our commitment to being not just a news platform, but also a smart, accessible, and future-ready business intelligence hub. As we celebrate 25 years of impact, we step confidently into the future, powered by technology, driven by credibility, and focused on you. Visit the new Business Day website today and experience the future of news. For 20...
All right, welcome back. Of course, you know it's sparking conversations that we're bringing it to your seats. Welcome to the social listening segment, where we bring you the stories, debates, and moments generating conversations across social media. I am Deborah Eze. And now let's get into what is making waves online. For the first conversation today, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, expressed concerns over the deplorable condition of the roads and the suffering of road users who spent hours and, in some cases, days on the route. In a statement on Tuesday, Francis Uwaza, the spokesperson to the Minister of Works, David Umahi, quoted his principal as expressing deep concern over the deplorable condition of the road and the suffering of road users who have spent hours and, in some cases, days on the route. And according to him, in response to the directive, Umahi has set machineries in motion for immediate action. And as part of the intervention, Umahi directed the Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, to lead a team of ministry officials to the Ifaki Kaba Ado-Ekiti Axis to assess the situation and commence urgent remedial works. Let's take a look at the video if there's any and some of the reactions.
Apologize to all commuters
and the people of Edo State, the people of Delta State, and all the people that use this road. Let me also say that NDDC MD is here with us, and is willing to also intervene. That we will go to Sapele Bini Road, and we will let him speak. Now, I am very, very disappointed with this concessionaire. I am very, very disappointed, and I offer apologies. I take full responsibility for the mistakes and for destruction of public assets. Because I have the bill of quantities here. I have the conditions of contract here. The Ministry of Work does not allow anybody to remove the asphalt on the roads. That is against the policy of the Ministry of Works. I've been here with the governor of the state, and at that time they started removing the asphalt. We frowned at it, and we begged them not to remove this. And each time the Minister of Works instructed.
Let's take a look at some of the reaction. And our first reaction is from Primal Focus. And he said, a major step towards improving connectivity and infrastructure. Hopefully, the inspiration brings faster progress and quality work to or on the Bini Agbo Asaba Expressway. Another reaction from Go Getter, and she said, Umahi arriving at the Benin Agbo Asaba Expressway is a reminder of how badly this government has neglected critical roads across the country. Instead of fixing existing highways that millions of Nigerians depend on daily, the government keeps pouring enormous resources into the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, while major economic corridors like this one deteriorate. And we have Combig, and it said, taking responsibility and confronting challenges head on is true leadership. Kudos to Minister Umai for his courageous accountability and commitment to delivering quality roads on the President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. And finally, from Big Stone, why is it that this man not investigated after a citizen of this nation was found dead in his home? Imagine if it was just another Nigerian. This is the kill and clean tactics employed by this regime, and it is a shame. Well, an apology from a minister having, seen what the commuters are actually going through, to be honest, in my opinion, is better than having to pretend and everything is fine without anyone saying anything about it and taking accountability for it. But anybody who has actually spent hours on a bad road knows that, Nigerian roads can turn your journey into like a full day event. And we've had people spend days on this Bini Agbo Asaba road, which is actually a very important route for businesses, and also most especially the movement of goods and people. So good thing he has come out to actually giving us an apology. The apology is welcome, but I'm sure that commuters don't just want an apology. They actually want to, get to their destination without having to feel like, they're going to spend days on the road because of an obstacle that they have no idea why it is there in the first place. So apology accepted, but I think they should go into the next thing now is they should actually, go into construction. We should start hearing the sound of construction equipment and actually see them actually fixing the road. On the second conversation today, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has ordered manufacturers of alcoholic beverage packaged in sachet and plastic bottles below 200 ml to recall and destroy the affected product. In a statement on Monday, Mojisola Adeyeye, NAFDAC Director General, said the directive followed the expiration of the transition period given to manufacturers to comply with the federal government's ban on the sale or production of alcoholic drinks in prohibited pack sizes. The ban took effect on January 4, 2026, following concerns over the accessibility of high alcohol content beverages in small, inexpensive, and easily concealed packages. Adeyeye said manufacturers found violating the ban must commence nationwide recalls of the affected product and submit periodic compliance reports to NAFDAC. Let's take a look at the video.
If you are a manufacturer of alcoholic beverages in sachets
and PET bottles less than 200 ml, and we find your product in the market, you will be fined heavily, aside from what you are doing right now. And the manufacturing facility will be closed down permanently. We will use POCA, Proceeds of Crime law, to deal with such manufacturer. But what I've seen from the manufacturing groups, the BAN and AFBT, is that they are ready to comply. They have seen that deterrent is working, and the highest deterrent is complete shutdown of the companies. NAFDAC is backed by that law. In terms of job loss, this was sounded since 2018. And many manufacturers now are thinking, they were the one who suggested reconfiguration of their lines. So they are thinking compliance. But if anybody doesn't comply, we will visit that company rather with the law that is appropriate.
Let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. The first reaction from Fresh Pumpkin, and he said, NAFDAC always targeting wrong things. They're not even looking at fake production everywhere. Red oil, people now use dye. Coke bottles are now refilled with mixtures. Fake drugs everywhere. People use omo to ferment fufu, and people use chemicals to preserve bread. Another reaction from Chief and Queen. They said, I support this move. Kidney failure among young people is becoming far too common, and it is time we take it seriously. Another reaction from FC Lageria, and it said, beyond the economics, this is a socially strategic decision. There are products like cigarettes, alcohol, betting, casinos that need constructively prohibitive laws due to the negative impact of abuse. And finally, from Tobe Kingsley, and he said, accepting tax from the companies that make this product registered under CAC, employing people, then bypass the same law to seize their product and not shut down the business. Clowns. So NAFDAC has said it, if you see it, don't sell it, or else you make us come looking for you. Now they record that, they record the sale of alcohol sachet, and also I think very small bottles. They're not up to 100 millimeter, to be sold to people. And it's funny that this has been in place since January 1st, but the deadline was yesterday. But then we still see people on my way down here. I still saw certain people selling it to, the people that buy it very early this morning, Nigeria, really, we have a lot. I say it here all the time. We have, a lot of regulations put in place. But the one problem that we have is making sure that the regulations actually work beyond press conferences and press releases. I understand that. And businesses, I will speak to businesses now. I understand that, it's also important to make money, but we need to take responsibility. We need to put people's health into account if we're going to make money. Because if not, like I said, take it off. Look for an alternative in order to actually sell this. And I must agree with Chief and Queen for actually, highlighting the amount of kidney failure that we have in Nigeria. It is really alarming. This is a conversation that I was having with certain people, and we were trying to compare and contrast the kind of alcohol, the way alcohol tastes, from different country with Nigeria. It is totally different, and that is why we see people in their 20s coming down with kidney failure because of the kind of contents that they actually inhale. So please, business owners, profit shouldn't be the strongest voice right now in the room. I understand that, you make more profit when you actually, produce this alcohol in sachet. please let us, think about the public health. NAFDAC has said you don't have to sell it. Don't produce it, don't sell it. And I think we should actually adhere to it, because at the end of the day, our health is the most important thing in all of this conversation. Now, for the final one today, the chairman of Kuje Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory, Samuel Shekwolo, has warned residents who do not support the All Progressives Congress to leave the council ahead of the 2027 general elections. Shekwolo made the comments in a video circulating on social media on Tuesday, in which he addressed his followers and constituents. The council chairman said his position was informed by what he described as the developmental efforts of President Bola Tinubu and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, in Kuje. He said residents could not benefit from the administration's interventions and subsequently vote against the APC at the 2027 election. Let's take a look at the video.
I've said in my area council, it's either you're doing APC or leave the area council. I'm not arguing with you. With confidence, I'm saying it. You know why? I cannot have minister and president doing for us what they are doing. Then on the day of election, you now come and say you want to match me. I will not do it. I will not do it. It's either you are with us.
And let's look at some of the reactions on social media. We have a reaction from Tayo Osibel, and he said APC politicians feel it's their birthright to remain in power forever. Why will it be threatening voters in Kuje, Abuja, to vote for APC? If APC have done well, voters will willingly or will be willing to support the party. Another reaction from Mudin Zain, and it says supporting APC or any other political party is a personal choice. Nobody should be threatened, intimidated, or told to leave their community simply because they refuse to support the ruling party. Democracy means freedom of choice, freedom of expression, and political options. And a reaction from Uhun Bless, and it said, the reality is simple. If APC had governed in a way that genuinely addressed the everyday struggles of Nigerians, there will be no need for the constant threat and pressure on citizens to vote APC. When a government delivers, its record becomes the campaign. And final reaction from Unowu, and he said, one thing about evil people is that they never keep their promises. No matter any deal this government gives you, it's just sham, fake thing. Whatever they give, they can take. Be free. And I must point out that all of these reactions are reactions from netizens, and it has nothing to do with Business Day. These are how Nigerians are actually reacting to the story. And I would say that politics has actually become very comfortable, because imagine having to be threatened that, oh, if you don't vote my own candidate, you don't have any right to enjoy all of the benefits that you're benefiting. It's very laughable and it's very funny. And I would like, and this is where I would like to make an excuse for him. I don't think he actually meant what he meant, because really, if what he actually said was really what he meant, then it is a very clowny move. Because at the end of the day, like this netizen said, when a government actually delivers, its record becomes the campaign. Allow people to choose. That's why it's a democracy, right? That's the whole idea behind the democracy. People having to choose who they want for as a candidate. So you can actually campaign, persuade, and explain, your party achievements. You can beg for votes, but telling people to actually support a particular party or telling them it's a do or do affair, it leaves serious questions. Where is political tolerance? Where is democracy? So please, I don't think this is actually, the way to go. Whether or not people actually vote a candidate, they are supposed to enjoy benefits that comes with being a citizen of democracy. They are supposed to enjoy it. It's not supposed to come with oh, because I didn't get your vote, then you cannot stay in the community, you cannot enjoy what determines what I get to enjoy in the community. Politics should actually determine who gets our votes, right, and not who gets to stay in their community. So yeah, that's really it for me. And that's a wrap on the conversations making the waves across social media in Nigeria today. Thank you for watching Social Listening segment, and we've come to the end. This is where we draw the curtain on the Wednesday edition. Until we come your way again tomorrow for the Thursday edition, my name is Deborah Eze. Do have yourself a beautiful morning.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
Nigeria. This is where we discuss contemporary issues within the country, especially issues around politics. Now, so sometimes we also look at economic and social issues. And today we'll be looking at two issues that are politics related. And the first actually is the presidential APC presidential committee, 2027 election committee or election committee or election council, which has been released with a lot of controversy now. Trailing it, people are questioning the inclusion of some people and the exclusion of some people. And of course, we are hearing it has been withdrawn. We are also hearing again, no, it has not been withdrawn. And all of those issues, all of the controversy, trailing that constitution of that council is what we'll be looking at today on Reflections Nigeria. Of course, we'll also be looking at a statement by Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the FCT, former Governor of Rivers State, wherein he said that if the president had wanted to take Osun State, he would have sent him there. And people are asking questions. Is Wike boasting of his capacity for evil? Those are the two issues we are going to be, looking at today. And of course, in the studio, I have two gentlemen who've always been with me, the Sunday editor of Business Day, Mr. Zeb Agomo, and of course, the assistant editor also here at Business Day, Mr. Chuka Uroko. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So, without wasting much time, let us look at, the APC presidential election council that has been constituted. We are hearing that council nomination of members has been that council has been withdrawn. But of course, again, this morning we are also hearing from the Felix Moka, this publicity secretary of the APC, that has not been withdrawn. So really, but again, what is stoking controversy has to do with those who have been nominated, who have been included as members of that committee. Of course, people are also questioning whether it is indeed proper for the president, who is a candidate in the election himself, to be even the chairman of that of council. But Zeb, let me probably start with you because you are also the head of politics here. So let's start with you. How do you see the constitution of that council?
Yeah, thank you, Josh. You see, APC, the All Progressive Congress, is one out of the 19 political parties in the country. And ordinarily, nobody should even bother about what happens in the internal affairs of that party. Where it concerns the entire populace of Nigeria, that's where it rankles, and that's where many people are really very concerned and raising such a concern. The constitution of the Presidential Campaign Council is purely APC business. Of course, they has drawn the list, and it is that list now that is causing some problems in the country. A lot of people have come up to say some of the inclusions on the list, some of the names that appear on the list were not really okay, going by the past records of such individuals, that if someone had been accused or had been alleged to have involved in one area of corruption or the other, that it wasn't wise for the party to have included such names. So, again, the inclusion of the Director General or the Executive Chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service on that list has also been condemned, because they believe that those who have been making this condemnation believe that there was no need to draw that man into obvious politics, because he is the one who is really taking care of all the taxes being collected in the country. And those who are paying these taxes are not members of one political party. So if you are bringing his name or dragging him into that council as Deputy Director General under fundraising, which means people are now alleging that you are saying that that service, all the money there will be open for the party to spend. So I think the party shouldn't have drawn itself into this unnecessary controversy. So there should have been places that were no-go areas. And I'm sure that's why the president or the presidency may have called back the list, because as of yesterday we were told that the list has been called back to make some necessary adjustments. And I hope that that adjustment is made. And some of those names that have elicited rancor and elicited this controversy in the polity will be expunged.
All right, thank you. But Zeb, I mean, Chuka, talking about Zab Adedeji, who is chairman of the executive chairman of Nigerian Revenue Service. He is a member of APC, and of course, he got that appointment on the basis of the fact that he's a member of the APC. So shouldn't he be a part of effort to bring back President Tinubu, who is the one that even gave him that appointment in the first place, knowing fully well that if Tinubu does not win, he may likely not retain that position. Just wondering, because if there's anything that should be done on his part to make sure that Tinubu wins, he should also do it. I mean, so yes, internal party of the APC, Zeb said, but he's a member of the APC as well. Tinubu gave him the appointment. Chuka.
Thank you for that question. But I hope you are not on the part of trying to rationalize what is not good. Because what the APC has done by drawing some individuals into the list of their campaign council is condemnable by anybody who sees anything that is wrong as wrong. Yes, the man may have been a party member some time ago, but today we know him more as a civil servant than a politician. Because Nigerian Revenue Service is not a political party affair. It is a civil service job. And somebody who is doing a civil service job shouldn't be drawn into. The person can be a party member, maybe by indirect, that is from the behind the screen, but not bringing somebody who is in charge of revenue of a whole country to be part of revenue raising, fundraising for the political party. My brother, I think I personally see everything wrong with what the APC did, and it goes to show how impunity can draw us to certain things that shouldn't be. Tinubu is first and foremost president of Nigeria. I agree that he's a candidate for the forthcoming election, but he has his limitations by reason of being the president. He should see himself as father of all, even going to the extent of moderating some of the things, the excesses of other political parties, because he's the president of the country. It's an interested party, yes, agreed, but the position as president of the country limits some of the things he's supposed to do as a candidate for the party. When he went ahead and said that everything is fair in politics, you remember the kind of flags that one drew from the public. Everybody who heard it actually flagged that statement. Because he shouldn't have said a thing like that. Which means even on election day and people are being shot, people are being macheted and treated, he wouldn't say anything. Because whatever anybody is doing that day is fair. And it's not like that in other places where people see politics not as what we see it here. So for me, there's no justification, no moral justification or any kind, whatever how you look at it, no justification whatsoever for including that man in the list of the campaign council of a particular party where he's managing the fund that belongs to all of us. It's a commonwealth that is managing. It's not a word that is meant for APC or for any other particular party for that matter.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be part of it.
But the fact that Zach Adedeji is chairman of NRS doesn't mean that he will just dip hand into the purse and bring that money. I mean, the money is not easy. Does he keep the money?
No. Why people? Okay.
But he has easy access. Okay. Don't rule out that one. We are talking about executive chairman. Executive chairman means it's a chairman that has executive powers. He can execute anything. And that execution includes drawing from wherever he can. So there could be checks and balances, yes, but not in this country. Perhaps in other places, it shouldn't even be brought close to that kind of function at all, because he's managing something that belongs to everybody. The tendency, because we are human, the tendency is always there for him to say, oh, we are lacking in this place. I say, my brother, come. And you said that he was appointed by the president.
Yes, of course, he was.
And whoever plays the piper, he plays the tune.
Calls the tune.
So he calls the tune. He can say, my brother, come. And for whatever reason, he will never say no. Which, if he says no, that's the end of the job.
So let me add here. Perception is key here. People have not seen him remove money yet. But what may happen is the reason why people are shouting already. Because these things both of them should not agree. This is a man in charge of a big
public money,
public fund. And now you are bringing him into another as in charge of fundraising. So that is why people are already shouting and saying, no, we don't allow that. So whatever role you may give him out. He shouldn't be there. Okay, how would you have sounded if INEC chairman was drafted to be a member? Because it was still the president that appointed him. How would it sound if the CBN governor
or the
was drafted into Minister of Finance? So if these people were drafted to be members of this council, it will also have raised dust as well. Because these are special individuals, special offices that are meant to serve the country, not just to serve the party. So that's why.
What does the inclusion of these people, what message does it pass across?
The message many people have received from this is that people are very are acting with impunity. We don't see anybody here. We can do anything. The country is ours. And they are not looking beyond party politics. They are not seeing Nigeria as bigger than the party. They believe that party, whatever the decision they take, if it favors their party, then everything else is okay. So that is why people are not happy about it. So it's wrong. And this is not the first time. It has become a pattern of this thing. And look at the inclusion of people who have some questionable characters. Some people who were removed from offices because of allegation of fraud and all that. So, and you are bringing them back. So this thing that continue to recur show that we are not learning as a nation. We are not learning.
But Julian, let me ask you. In the event that, for instance, Tinubu or APC, because let me even know this, because this is a party thing. In the event that APC refuses, even after reviewing, because they said they are reviewing, even after reviewing this, presidential election council membership, even after review, in the event that the party refuses to, drop these individuals, chairman of the NRS. There's another lady, former minister of former minister of humanitarian services, and then there's also another woman from Delta State, Ngozi Olujeme, who was chairman of Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund under Jonathan.
Yes.
In fact, who was investigated under Buhari, and when I think she was allegedly made to refund money by the EFCC and all of that. So all of them have been brought in. And truly, these are people who have corruption allegation around their neck. But they're part of this thing now. So are we really fighting corruption? But I'm asking, in the event that APC refuses to drop these individuals, even after reviewing this council membership, what happens? Notwithstanding the noise.
Yes, Nigeria, we are kind of a very, very people with a high level of capacity to absorb shocks in this country. Nigerians have high capacity to absorb shocks. What I mean by that is that if in the event of APC insisting that, we can't tamper with these names, it will go the way of other absurd things that have happened in Nigeria. And the life goes on. But why people are shouting now is because they say, as if we saw this and everybody kept quiet. We said, but nobody did anything. What has always defined ruling parties in Nigeria is impunity. It's not because it's APC today. All of us were there when PDP was in power. They were more brazen than even what we are seeing now.
Were they?
They were more brazen. Yes.
Was PDP more brazen than what we have seen in different
areas? They also did
a lot
of things that's unimaginable in a sane society and got away with them. So I think most of the things we do in Nigeria is that, this person, talking from president, this person also did it. In the days of Buhari, we saw how everywhere that mattered in Nigeria under Buhari were occupied by people from a certain section of the country.
Yeah.
And that is what is being played out in the country today. Somebody did it yesterday and nobody raised eyebrow. Why is anybody talking when I'm doing it now? You find some individuals rationalizing what they know that is not good. So what I'm saying is, what I am saying in essence is that if tomorrow APC insists that these names must remain, I don't think there's anybody who will carry placard and go outside to the streets and say, we no go agree, we no go. It will remain. But message can be sent that this is not good.
Let me come in here. You see, some of us grew up in the village where we witnessed several times where hawk will come and swoop on chicks and the hens. The mother hen will shout and shout and shout and shout. Meanwhile,
people
the
try
chick
to
is
follow
gone.
the girl.
In fact, sometimes you will see the agony of the mother hen. The agony of the mother hen. The mother hen is saying, I am not crying
so that I can
retrieve this chick that is gone. But I'm trying to say, let the heaven bear me witness, let the earth bear me witness that I shouted when the children were taken away. So that is exactly what Nigerians are saying. Let the earth and the heaven bear witness that we have been shouting and nobody is listening. So we are now mother hen, in a position of mother hen shouting over this.
Our chicken that is being taken away.
The chief, but the inclusion, the controversy that has trailed this presidential council of the APC 2027 election, does it have the capacity to undermine APC's success in that election? Do you see anything around here that can work against APC?
You see,
given the noise that people are already making.
Chuka made some statement that we have seen some things that are even worse. And talking about election, we are people that easily forget. But even before the election, many people will not even remember that there was some problem in the campaign council and everything. Everybody will have gone. You see, if you remember in 2022, before the 2023 general election, when the Muslim ticket came up, everybody shouted as we are shouting now. People say, this thing can never work.
Because it has never worked before.
We don't determine election results based on some of these things. Nigerians are watching, the voters are watching, but what will happen to the result of the election proper? The choice of many people may not even have to do with the list or the inclusion of anybody on the list. So, but what happened is that Nigerians are saying that right things are not being done. These things are not right. At least conscience should be able to guide us to do the right things. whether they are capable of moderating the decisions of Nigerians, or imparting on the decision of Nigerians when they go to vote on that day. So it's a different thing altogether. So I'm not sure that going into the election, Nigerians will be bothered about who is on the list and who is not on the list. But the message this thing sends out to both the presidency and to the APC is that it is not right.
Okay. I think what I want to add here is that the Nigerian electorate, as he said, they are not sophisticated like that.
They are not.
Those who vote, as if Nigeria doesn't have a crop of sophisticated individuals. But those who make up the electorate, those who actually go out to vote, are not sophisticated people. The percentage of those who are sophisticated is not up to 5 of those who are actually go to vote.
Yeah.
So because of that, the action of an average Nigerian electorate is not predetermined.
By
it's not based on, it's not precedent on any action that happened yesterday, or statement that somebody made yesterday. It's on the spot of the moment. How much am I going to get on at the what do you call that place? Polling station.
Yes.
It's what happens at the polling station that determines the action of
an average voter.
Of an average voter. Yes. That depending on how much I get, maybe like what happened in Osho, we were told it was alleged that some parties were given
up to
40,000 naira, 50,000 naira, while some were given 10, 15. So you find that this party that gave the most will carry the day. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that in Osho, which is an isolated case. It has never happened like that before. So, because of the electorates are not really they are not guided by this candidate, this party, until we start Nigerian electorates start being interrogating certain actions, like what is at stake now. Why should this party? It's like the mean evil. Like going back to what you asked about. What message does this pass? These people want to do something funny. And that's why fraudulent people, inappropriate actions are not being minded in constituting the campaign council.
Yes.
If they are bringing in the chairman of revenue council, it means somebody has an ulterior motive. It means somebody is looking at our money. And it's enough otherwise to deny them of success at the polls.
Yes.
But it doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't happen.
What happens instead is that people say, oh, I think we couldn't correct them, we couldn't hold them back. Let us just go to the poll and then see what they are going to do. After all, what I get today is all the electoral that there is for me in what they call democracy, dividend of democracy. For most electorates, for most voters, is what they get at the polling station.
Okay, thank you. So just so as we wrap up on this topic, Sarah, I want to ask you finally, if the APC, and of course, if the APC is now considering, as we have been told, that is now considering withdrawing this committee, this council, and reviewing
the list,
could it be that the president himself was not even aware of the constitution of this council before it was made known to the public?
Let me come in. You see, we saw an incident a day or 2 days to the Russian election when EFCC swooped on or froze the accounts of the state government. And the president came blazing and said, no, I didn't, please.
He was not aware.
I wasn't aware. Please unfreeze the accounts. Now this time, it appears also that the presidency says it wasn't aware when these lists were drawn and has called for it. So this thing had been done over and over again. And the presidency say, I am not aware, we are not aware, and all that. So what has happened is a moral burden. And Nigerians are not deceived by what is going. Whether you withdraw the list or not, the harm
had
already been done. The Rubicon had been crossed. So what people are alleging now is that even if you withdraw, for instance, the NRS chairman, so people have seen your hand.
Your intention.
That your intention. If by tomorrow you are spending more than you should spend, they say, okay, there was a warehouse somewhere where you are pulling out drawing money in the house, and they will not look very far. There's no need to do enough interrogation to say, they say it's from the NRS coffers. So do not make any mistake at the initial time, because any sandpapering or whatever amendment you want to make,
it's an afterthought.
It's an afterthought, and many people have moved on. Not many people that saw the first list will even see the second list. So that's the danger.
And they will even conclude that
they will have drawn their conclusion.
There will be nothing different from the first and second.
Nothing.
All right, let's hope that the APC, does the right thing, given the controversy that has trailed the constitution of this presidential election committee or council. It can be right that you have people who are, public servants who are supposed to be neutral. I mean, to some extent, despite being the APC member, of course, given the position that they currently occupy, I mean, they should be somehow neutral, and even if they give their support, it shouldn't be overly seen. I mean, it's something they can do from the background. Let's hope that the party will do the right thing so that Nigerians can, again, build confidence, around the election that is coming in 2027. Well, we've got a short break now. When we come back, quickly we'll look at the statement that was credited to the FCT minister that he would have won the, I can even say it would have taken Osun if the president had sent him there. But that the fact that the president didn't send him means that the president did not want to take Osun State. When we come back, this is what we'll be looking at. Welcome back. This is still Reflections Nigeria, and without wasting time, let us quickly look at what it is, what may have inspired the Minister of the FCT to make that statement. I don't know, gentlemen. After the Osun election, the Minister of the FCT, Jason Wike, came out to say that if the president wanted Osun State for APC, that he could have sent him there and that he would have done the job. And then people are wondering, what does this mean really? What do you mean by this? I mean, people voted. I mean, are you saying that the vote of the people would not have counted, that it is not the vote of the people that could have won the election, that you, the Minister of FCT, would have won the election rather than the people? So I will start with you, because it seems that this minister is arrogating so much, I would say, is it power, or there's so much capacity to do evil, so to say, so much capacity to do evil to himself. And people are wondering we saw what he was able to do in Rivers. I mean, he has been able to, cow the Rivers State governor, and is one that has submitted now to him. In fact, has gone back to it has crawled back to, so to say. But so Wike has unlimited capacity to do anything. Joker, what?
I think Wike can be seen from the prism of a short play, or let me say a drama, a full-blown drama, where you have people that you call major characters or protagonists. And these protagonists are usually what you call tragic characters. Wike is presenting himself as somebody who is tending towards tragedy. That tragedy normally comes from either reckless statements or error of judgment. Just see what is white. You say, don't you see the red background of this television, even though it is white? So he sees himself as somebody that is invincible. Nobody can conquer him. Nothing can stop him. I watched a short video where Davido, the nephew of the governor, visited the same Wike in his house and said, we defeated you. And he said, defeated me? Are you sure? Defeated me? Okay. And the guy had to double it, according to them, and went and started hugging him. So people are we are the ones actually giving him that invisibility, that nothing can happen. By Davido's action, you can see that, even though we actually won this election through fair and free voting, I think this man is still capable of doing one or two things to truncate this victory. And yesterday again, I saw a short video still where the man who won the election visited the same Wike, and they were showing dance steps. So all these things are the things that embolden a character that is drifting and everybody's looking at it. Because he may be having his way now, like any other tragic character, but nobody's wishing anybody anything bad. But one day, all this will be over. One day. Of course. Because Wike can't be in government forever. And saying some of these things and doing some of these things and getting away with them doesn't mean that he's God. One day, the cup will be full and it will overflow.
Yeah, I mean, so you are asking, one is asking, so what do you think is giving Wike the boldness, right, to be able to do some of these things and to be able to say some of the things that he says most of the time? Is it the system, or is it that Nigerians don't bother about things like that? Is it the system that is, the system that we operate, that gives him that level of, You know, he says whatever he likes. I mean, if we watch him most of the time when he does his monthly media chat, you know, he can say anything. I mean, today I've seen people say, look, I mean, this man is even saying things that even the president, sometimes they think that the president may not say. The kind of threats that the president may not issue. I've seen Wike several times, you know, issuing threat to individual, and the other time he tells a former governor, okay, if you put fire in your state, if you come to, where he was still the governor then of Rivers State, I'll put fire in your state if you come. I've seen him said, Makinde, I'm interested in I'm interested in all those things. So is it a system that encourages him to do this?
It's a system that has lost its values. And everybody believes that evil rules. And when an evil rules, like he has said, evil cannot rule supreme and everlasting. It has its unexpiring date. Wike has shown himself as a man who is capable of doing all manner of things. And he fits into a system that is a terrible system, a very terrible system, a system that has allowed him to see himself as God. And he comes and talks like God. You see, some years ago, in the part of the country I come from, a man was known to steal without restraint. He will go into your farm and harvest the cassava, harvest your yam. He will do everything, and he will come to your house and steal all your fowls, and you can't do anything. And now he was bragging. He said, in fact, you see my son, my first son, if you are talking about my own stealing, it's even a little one. My son own is even breeding on his. So his own has no part two, my son. So now that man was bragging about evil in his family. People were looking at him. Of course, nobody could challenge him. Yes. Because if you challenge him, he will visit you. So that emboldened him to come out now to threaten everybody and say, my own son self is even beyond my own. But go to his family today. It's a place nobody would dream that it should be, because it had become a desolated place. So unfortunately, Barrister Wike, Nyesom Wike, appears to be succeeding. He has destroyed the People's Democratic Party, as it were, because of power tussle. I don't blame him entirely for that, because of that, for the dates of PDP, because we are here, we know what has happened over time since 2022. I don't lay all the blame on him. We were here, we knew one man called Tony Anene. They were calling him Mr. Physics in PDP in those days. Today, where is Mr. Tony Anene? All those eras are gone. So now, we are in a very terrible shape as a country. And because of where we are, that's why the likes of Wike are thriving. But I tell you that they can't continue indefinitely. Thank you.
All right. Well, they can't continue indefinitely. I mean, there's always, there's always to every era. So we are not saying that it's actually some of these things politics, right? I mean, in politics,
politics, you have to
you need to bring down your opponents and make your opponent feel that you have.
We are human beings. You have to. Yes, you see, I will conquer these states. What then? by conquering this state, you mean you upturn the decision of the people.
Yes.
The voters have no say.
This particular statement.
It's not
if
democracy.
President had wanted
Yes,
the
to
state,
take.
he would have sent him.
Yes.
So he is greater than all the 15,000 policemen.
Yes, that was
30,000
NSDS.
Or everything that went there.
All the soldiers that went there, will be greater than.
And indeed, the Senate President, led a delegation
and all
about 17
governors of APC were there. So Wike will have been alone.
Would have just that was the picture of that man in the Bible that could pull the whole house down.
Okay, Samson. He will have pulled the whole house down and got the place for APC.
INEC chairman, do it now.
So when you have such characters in a country, you don't need to pray that.
The thing that's even more disturbing about that statement is that the president should have come out and said no. So you are my hatchet man. You know, you are not my. You have not sent me on errand to go and destroy.
Yes.
If the president had wanted, to send him.
What Wike is saying by other means is that 2023 that everybody is planning, 2027 that everybody is preaching, let there be peace, let there be free, fair, credible election. Let violence not happen. So everybody is speaking in vain. That's what he's trying to say.
Or even the planning is just in vain.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for a very insightful discussion on the Reflections Nigeria today. We hope that the politicians will moderate the way they talk, the way they carry on. We are still in a democracy. In a democracy, it is the will of the people, that should prevail, especially in an election. It should not be the will of an individual. And so, the statement credited to the Minister of the FCT, I think, is generally condemned by Nigerians. And that we hope, we believe that at least next time, we see him talk, we'll be able to talk, and with the understanding that it is Nigerian, the voters, who determine who wins in an election. Yes, draw the curtain here on Reflections Nigeria. Until we come again, thank you, viewers, for staying tuned. My name is Joshua Pass.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Headline. I am Deborah Eze. The Nigerian exchange is giving investors a reality check after an impressive run the first half of the year. Following a historic peak of about 160.4 trillion naira in market capitalization, the NGX has entered a 20-day correction, shedding 5.42 trillion naira and bringing market capitalization down to about 154.98 trillion naira. The all-share index has also fallen by 2.14%, although the market still maintains a strong 54.73% year-to-date gain. So, is this simply healthy profit taken after a remarkable rally, or could it signal a deeper market weakness? And with interest rates, inflation, foreign investor participation, and the expected Dangote refinery listing all in play, what should investors expect in the next month ahead? We're being joined by Iyayi Nwachukwu, Assistant Editor here at Business Day, to analyze this conversation. It's good to have you, Mr. Iyayi.
Thank you very much, Stevie, for having me.
All right, a very beautiful piece, I must say, very packed. And I hope you give us a packed response. Now, from what I read, the NGX has lost about 5.42 trillion naira in just 20 trading days, and this is after hitting a record high. Now, do you think investors should see this as a normal market correction after the huge rally that we had, or is there a deeper concern beneath the numbers?
Just like you said, return of over 50% is remarkably impressive, despite what you see about 5 trillion, relatively above 5 trillion, loss in 20 days. It's not something, to worry about. like I keep telling people, the market, if you look at the trend in the market, the graph is not linear, it's not static, it fluctuates. So that gives you, a guide on what you expect, whenever you're in the market, So expecting the market graph to be linear is wrong, and I expect that people should rather see this as an opportunity to enter the market. So for me, it is normal, it's an opportunity, and it's something people should as well know that a market that takes time to correct itself is not an abnormal market.
Let's speak about the earlier rally. How sustainable do you think it is? And are we now seeing investors, simply locking profits after the impressive gains?
Yes, profit taking is also normal in the market, and mind you, a lot of people are also speculative in the market. So when people are speculating, they look at, okay, what are the stocks that have have advanced so that they can lock in those gains and either take a walk for a while, temporary walk, watch and enter again. So it is not something that will make you see everything from a negative perspective, right? So that opportunity remains there. The market has the potential to even go further from where it is. There are many factors, because if you watch a lot of analysts comments on H2 outlook, it shows you that the market has the tendency to even recoup what it has lost currently. For me, the problem most people have is they want to enter the market when it is already high, but in stock market, you buy the dip. When you buy the dip, there's a tendency that when you buy the dip, the stock will increase. So this is the dip which I expect so many people to leverage now. It's a window, re-entry window for any investor that wants to make money in future.
Let's talk a bit about the people that have taken the biggest hit in all of this. That's the insurance companies, low cap stocks, and also major oil and gas players. They've taken the biggest hit. So what do you think is driving this appropriation, selling in the sectors? And do you think investors should be worried?
No, like I said before, what goes up definitely
must come down.
And you don't expect the stock to go up and remain there without coming down. For specific stocks, in the oil and gas sector, Aradel is there, and in the insurance sector, of course, we have seen that some the industry just completed its capitalization. So that means we have seen, that shows that these are the companies that have that the liquidity to operate in that sector. When you have that liquidity to operate in the sector, it means also that you have the prospects of making more money for investors. The tendency of making more money for investors is there. So it is something that for every opportunity, for every negative you see, there's an opportunity. It does not mean that people should walk out of those stores. No, but I think, yes, like you said, in the insurance stocks, many of them are the occupants in that, that basket. But for me, where people are seeing the negative, I'm seeing opportunity, because what is their future like? People should be, buying into the future of these companies.
Right. So are you projecting a possible rebound in the second half of 2020?
Yes, it is likely. Because in the second half we expect a lot of good news coming. The Dangote refinery listing is a major thing that will happen in the market that also pull its own liquidity, and we also next month the possible inclusion of Nigeria into the FTSE index, will attract foreign liquidity into the market. So, like I said before, this is the time to buy, because when these things start to happen from this month, some of these figures you see will definitely change for good.
All right, help us buttress on the specific economic indicators, that would would need to improve the optimism to become a reality?
Oh yeah, it's we have seen that the central bank, we have policies, monetary policies, been relatively, favorable. We have seen FX rate, stable. We have also seen inflation rate, moderating. So there are signs that the future, the future of the market.
Could all of that actually be, significant to the liquidity and the valuation to the NGX? Or?
Yes, because investors put all these things, into consideration before they put their money in stocks. You put them into. Also, if you can't predict the next line of decision by the central bank around its a benchmark around the interest rates, around interest rates. If you can't predict it, that means you'll be operating in the market blindly. So as it is, CBN, you can comfortably say with this FS rate stable, Naira it's also gaining, against the dollar, constantly gaining against the dollar. The foreign reserve is also increasing. The inflation rate is moderating. All this put together shows you that for now, the future is, bright.
Right. Let's talk about the anticipated listing of the Dangote petrol refinery and also the petrochemicals. It has been described as one potential, of defining the market, and everyone is looking forward to it. And you also mentioned it. So do you think that the listing would actually provide enough momentum to reverse, the current correction? Or are interest rates and election-related uncertainty very important, bigger forces investors should be watching for?
I think this is one big thing that is coming to the market. The listing of Dangote refinery. Everyone is expecting it, and it's not just about Nigerians expecting it. The world, investors across the world are expecting it to come. And like the billionaire, chairman said, he wants to democratize, the listing. That means he wants everybody to have access to it. We are. His plan is that when he's going to host maybe an annual general meeting, he won't go to the hall, he'll go to the field.
Yeah.
National Stadium should be the venue for such. So when you have that big dream, massive, of course, that massive, dream, that, when I'm doing my annual general meeting, it won't be in halls. It won't be in halls. It will be in the stadium. That shows you that he wants everybody, every household, every investor to have a share of that, of Dangote refinery. And I think it's something, everybody should look up to, because if there's no value, people who have also, if people won't be interested in it, So you say you follow the money, and you also follow those who know road. So in this case, follow those who know road, so that you can as well, get money.
All right. So looking ahead, of the rest of 2026, speak to us about what you think would be the biggest catalyst that could, push the NGX back towards its previous record high.
Debbie, you should agree. You should agree with me that a market that has recorded over 50% return, over 50% return within 8 months, has done remarkably well.
True.
And this same market has the potential to increase, right? Despite the month-to-date loss. It's still sitting comfortably above 50%, 54 point, So this market, even if it stays like this throughout the year, I'm sure that it has produced a lot of billionaires.
Right. We actually recorded lots of millionaires. We had that headline. I think that was sometime last week on the paper. So yes, I agree with you. So you are somebody who I respect when it comes to the NGX, and if you were to advise an investor today after this 5.42 trillion correction, now what would you tell them? Do you think this is a warning to be cautious, or this is an opportunity for them to position before the next leg of the market?
It is never a warning to be cautious.
Okay.
Investors should have that, should have the take long position in the market, not this short-term position, And for me, if those who took long-term positions in the market, they don't get worried when things like this happen. It's only those speculators that keep getting worried. And speculators get worried because they jump into the market when they see that it's going up. But simple investment scale, buy the dip, then wait for the market to increase, right? As it is now, it's an opportunity, big opportunity, and it's also advisable that for anyone who wants to make money in the market to come in now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anya. It was really good to have you, and such an amazing piece, I must say, on the BusinessDay newspaper. And of course, we'll be speaking to Ian Iwachuko, assistant editor here at BusinessDay Media. And of course, the conversation doesn't end here. We've examined the key issues, explored the context, and unpacked what the developments mean going forward. Thank you for watching. I am Deborah Eze. Join us next time on Behind the Headlines.